God damn. Hello everyone, Tactical Edge here. Sorry for the wait. Finally fixed the audio. So basically, what happened was I updated OBS, and every single setting got reset. So yeah, a lot of streaming settings actually disappeared, which I did not aware of this change. So yeah, the audio settings all got messed up. But yeah, anyways, we are on, and let us go into the next. Yeah, let's see who is ready to play. We already have the first semifinalist matchup on right now, so we will hopefully join Fat Kid at Recess and Sailanita in their games. But yeah. But first, they need to send me their lobby name or lobby code first, if they ever have one. But yeah, let me know if there's any like technical difficulties. Oh, well, Coops, I did saw those jokes, and I appreciate that, but the thing is, I was just too busy to answer them. You know, like, I'm under time pressure to fix everything to start streaming, but the thing is, I just can't figure out what's going wrong, so that's the issue here. But yeah, in the end, it seems that it's just OBS updated the whole thing and reset a lot of my stuff, so it didn't start streaming the right audio track. But yeah. But I did lost my crowd keys. Crowd keys? Yeah. I did lost my crowd keys. I hold it that a little rebellion now and then is a good thing. That is a very Skaven logic. But yeah, appreciate everyone's presence. Now let us just wait for whoever's. Okay, cool. We got Fat Kids at Recess. Okay, cool. Of course, I thought there might be a possibility that this is the exact room name, but confirming the suspicion doesn't help, I guess. Food Fetish Phantasma. What? Why even you have this? Why do you even have this lobby name? Fun fact, it's an actual Thomas Jefferson quote. Yeah, I kind of expect that because that dude's a wild president, among all presidents of the United States, right? I mean, I'm not from the U.S. I've never been to the U.S. before, but I've seen enough exploits of him being mentioned on Reddit and stuff. So yeah, dude's wild. Dude is wild. Yeah. Thank freak, we are having our stream on now. But yeah, let me know if there's like any bitrate issues, any like audio issues. Just mention them on the chat, and I'll be sure to like catch it and deal with it at ASAP. Other than that, yeah, we have our first game here. Fat Kid at Recess versus Sailanita. One of them going for a lot of cows. A Dumble, a very munificent build. A bunch of Minotaurs, Dumble. We have, of course, the Shaman of Wild, Brave Shaman of Wild Magic, and then a bunch of Angors. But the thing is, we are waiting for a bit. I think Sailanita has a bit of connection issues occasionally, so that's probably why, which is not a big issue, honestly. But yeah, we're chilling here. Let them load. Yeah, let's see if our bit rate's fine. Our bit rate seems to be fine. And yeah, things seem to be going okay so far. Alright, cool, let's go. So, yeah. Unfortunately, that little technical difficulties lost a little bit of viewership, but that is fine. We shall deal with it. We have, they probably come back at some point when they are less busy. But anyways, we have a bunch of Angors, as expected. Some of them Angor Raiders and some of them Angor Spears, just to hold back the Dark Elf front line, and then a bunch of mobility in the form of Centaurs with throwing axes. Very good against the Dark Elves, actually, especially against the Cold One Knights. Their armor piercing and whatnot. Just great at chipping away at the heavy cavalry. For the front line there's a bunch of Dread Spears mixed in with Fleet Swords, a very common way to deploy your Dark Elf front line, and a couple of Witch Elves to blend through and breach the defenses of the Beastman infantry. Now for mobility wise, there's a lot of mobility. Like, is that 3 units of Koa Knights, and then multiple units of Dark Riders, 2 in fact, and then 2 more Harpies in the skies, just to shut down enemy backline and whatnot. In the skies, we have a Supreme Sorceress of Dark Magic coming in with Lore of Soul Stealer, and that's it for the Dark Elf army builds. Oh, right, for the Beastman leadership, we have a Dome Bull coming in with Barbed Knuckle Boxing. It actually called... Okay, it is an ability, not an item, so yeah, this is just... Hey, I am a boxing master. Yeah, it's not even called Barbed Knuckle. It's just called Barbed Knuckle Boxing, which is kind of funny on its own. Wait, magic? Okay, yeah, magic. We have a Brave Shaman of Wild Magic coming in with Traderkin only, so Lore of Traderkin, plus that Vigor refresh and charge bonus. Pretty nice. But yeah, that's it for the army builds. Now let's get the battle going, or well, we wait for the players to get the battle going, anyways. Let me just open up my phone so that I can check the chat without like switching screens and shit. Yeah. Boxing a Doom Bull sounds like a bad idea, unless you're a Boxagor. Then now that's a good idea. It would be really fun to see the boxing match of the old world, of the world that was. Boxagors versus Doom Bull. I mean, like, if there's like a hero Boxagor, then that would be great. It's just Boxagor showdown at that point. But yeah. It seems like both players are ready, and we shall begin with a bunch of Dread Spears pushing forward, and the Angors not able to do much here. Angor Raiders shooting, but with the Silver Shields on all these Dread Spears, Bleak Swords, they are gonna tank it. They should start switching their targets onto the Witch Elves. Really, they should work down those light armored infantry as soon as possible, but Alas missing those opportunity here, and the Witch Elves are almost in charging distance. On the flanks there, the Dark Elves are wrapping around due to their extremely wide mobility. Unfortunately for the Koa Knights though, the Centaurs are much faster than these guys, so with 92 speed thanks to their Primal Fury, they actually managed to kite away at the Koa Knights and unable to catch them. Anyways, front line, we have the Butchers of Kelkengard diving into combat, doing some pretty good impact damage onto the Dread Spears, but they don't want to stay there for too long, especially not trying to push through the combat. On the skies, a massive Traderkin hitting 5 units of the Dark Elves, doing some really good value there, especially draining the health of the Supreme Sorcerers, but that came at the cost of a nasty breath attack onto some of these Minotaurs, killing 1 unit model. While at the back there, Bleak Swords, Harpies are diving onto Angor Raiders, and there's not enough Centaurs to protect these Angors, so they will be dead. On the far side there, wait, why is there a Centaur all the way on the other side? Anyways, they are way out of position alongside the other throwing axes as well, but it seems that the front line is going just fine for the Beastmen, with the Minotaurs plowing straight through all those Dark Elf infantry, rather squishy and rather susceptible to charge impact damage. Even Witch Elves are absolutely obliterated by the monstrous infantry. Unfortunately though, the Angors are getting shut down by all these Cold One Knights. Not a lot of solutions to these cavalry just yet, because, well, the Centaurs are not in the place to stop. So I do think that Sailanita has a little bit of advantage here, despite this flank completely collapsing. Not actually completely collapsing, but wait, okay, I missed out some Black Arquebusiers. There's actually some skirmishing firepower in the Dark Elf army, and it seems that, yeah, the Dark Elves, I do think the Dark Elves have a little bit more advantage here. A lot of chaff of the Beastmen are being cleaned up, and some of these Minotaurs are being isolated and destroyed. So all that's left, yeah, now the battlefield is basically separated into 2 right now. Both armies obtain an advantage on one flank. Now they just need to converge onto the middle and go for that final showdown, which they are trying to do so right now. Doom Bull alongside with Senegals are running straight into the middle there, and they are facing off against Harpies and Dread Spears. Should do just fine. Actually, not fine for the Senegals, but with the heavy armor of the Doom Bull and then with some more infantry support, yeah, the Dread Spears are taking some pretty nasty damage. And more importantly, there are more and more mobility and regroup units of the Beastman coming back. Harpies diving down, but there are still some butchers of Kalkan very elite status with their regeneration as well. Just overall a solid unit. Unfortunately, they still doesn't have the highest armor at only 45, so they'll still take damage when they got tied down on spears. Anyways, Senegals being thrown onto the Black Ark Corsairs just to stop them from shooting, and a massive Soul Stealer hitting many of the units among the... Oh, damn, this is a lot of direct damage spells here. Hitting the majority of the Beastman units with the Soul Stealer, and also hitting the majority of the Dark Elf units with the Traderkin. Both armies are just trading blows with their magic. Though, for the Dark Elves, they do have the advantage of self-heal from the Soul Stealer. So, things are still quite even, but... yeah, having such a healthy Supreme Sorceress in the late game, this is huge for the Dark Elves right now. But if they got... Ooh, there, I forgot about that. The Doom Bull does have a dazed contact effect. Is it from the ability or just from itself? Yeah, just dazed contact effect. Lowering melee defenses of units it hit. Very useful against the Koa Knights, who already doesn't have the highest melee defense to begin with. But with the Koa Knights isolating the Doom Bull and the Supreme Sorcerer surrounding him, things are looking quite dicey for the Beastman suddenly. Especially without any support, actually. Without any support. Now, the Brave Shaman is all the way on the other side of the battlefield, not quite able to support this fight. Supreme Sorceress is taking a few hits, but she can heal, but the Doom Bull cannot. This blob needs a Traderkin fast, but unfortunately I do think that there's not enough magic to use, and the Doom Bull is almost done for. Yeah, the Doom Bull is done for, and once he's gone, then there's not much the Beastman can do to pull back this game, because, well, the key units are all basically almost done for. We have the Butchers getting down to 1,000 something HP. A massive Traderkin comes in, but it is way too late as the Doom Bull has died. Balance of power is majorly against the Beastman right now. Traderkin, it is not upgraded, so it's doing some nice damage, but unable to turn around this battle for sure. And yeah, things are looking very bleak for the Beastman at this point. Like, all the router units are easily chased off by the Supreme Mobility, and I do think that charging Tentacles right now is not the greatest call because they're fighting a Cold One Knight. So Army Losses is hit, and the victory shall begin. The first game will begin... the first game's victory shall belong to Fat Kid at Recess, I believe. Oh, no, that's Sailanita on the other side, I believe, yeah. Anyways. Army performances, the two Minotaurs with great weapons, unlike the Khorne counterparts, they don't have Frenzy. Well, they kind of exchange it with their Slaughter Feast, Gore Feast. No, not Gore Feast, but they do have a passive ability to add additional melee attack, but unfortunately it is not quite effective right here. Especially with their lack of armor, taking a lot of extra damage from the Dread Spears and the rest of the Dark Elf unit. Being hit by Koa Knights and Supreme Sorceress means their fate is pretty much doomed, while the Senegals with Throwing Axes, one of them did really well, the other not so much. I think there's just too many Ungol Raiders in this build. Like, missiles are very cost effective, sure, but there's not enough units to protect them. Especially against Dark Elf, which is a very strong rushing army. They have a lot of strong infantry that can cut through Ungors in no time, like Black Ark Corsairs, Witch Elves, even Bleak Swords trade decent against Ungor infantry. So having 4 Ungor Raiders against an army that can field a lot of light cavalry and heavy cavalry, all kinds of mobility flyers, dragons, I do think that might just be a big mistake here. And yeah, Koa Knights just trading really well in this game because there's not much to stop them, right? Sailanita held back the Koan Knights very well until they're they're required in battle. Just trading well overall against everything on this Beastman roster, really. Maybe other than the Minotaurs, but they're just not fighting the Minotaurs. Anyways, Dumbo not doing a lot of damage, unfortunately. Probably, yeah, Morgor the Shadow Gate would be a better choice in here. Mostly just to, like, fight through the rather squishy Dark Elf infantry and whatnot, and provide a bit more mass with the Chaos Spawn summons. But yeah, Traderkin though did a lot of damage against the Cavalry and Supreme Sorceress and whatnot, so very, very good use of the magic. Just that I do think that Supreme Sorceress of Dark Magic is still the way to go, and indeed it is. Unfortunately, she's still not nerfing the healing, so... Ooh, and also the hidden MVP, the Plague Corsairs. Their missiles are very effective against the Beastmen. This is a unit that should be deployed more in against the Beastmen simply because of their lack of armor. And Plague Corsairs, their missiles just trade well. And even if you don't have any missiles... Even if you don't have any, like, stuff to shoot at, like, I mean, no, wait, sorry. Even if you ran out of ammo, you can just charge the Black Corsairs into combat and their armor would hold just fine against regular Centaurs and Ungor infantry. Even Gore infantry with their 80 armor, they should still do okay. Especially when you're done with your ammo, you basically earn back quite a bit of value afterwards anyway, so... Anyways, in this battle, it will be Fat Kid at Recess going for Dwarfs, while Sailanita going for Vampire Count. Ooh, this is going to be a spicy battle, and it's probably going to be quite tough for the Vampire Count. I mean, it can be quite even, depending on things, but one thing to note is that you can't bring Gotrek and Felix in this tournament because it's banned. It's not a fun way to play the game. Yeah, sure, it's powerful, but it's not fun. So I personally hate it, and it seems that Human Boy yes definitely agree with that and ban that from the new player tournaments, which is the entire point is not to win, but for people to practice and have fun. So yeah, no Gotrek and Felix, so something else will need to be devised up to deal with the Vampire Blob. We shall see what Fat Kid at Recess can coke up, because Vampire Count, they do have a lot of flying mobility. Just Black Knights are also pretty solid, which can hurt the Dwarf Gun Lines quite a bit. But Dwarves, if deployed properly with a nice layered formation, their crossfire can do a lot of devastating damage to vampire monsters and infantry alike. So things can be quite interesting to see, especially wait. I wanted to say both players are not like experienced, but like they have been quite active in tournaments lately. So I do think that they are pretty good. They have a pretty good understanding of the meta currently. Probably better understanding at probably better understanding at the meta than mine, because God, I just don't play meta builds, and all I can play these days are meme builds because I've been testing meme builds and just playing with them. Like, okay, I know I would probably lose with a meme build, but the problem is that I've never played a meta build. So even if I deployed a meta build, I don't know exactly how to optimally play it. Like, I can't even get the optimal build because, okay, I know there are certain units that are meta, but what am I supposed to deploy with them? Like, fine-tuning the army list is something that I cannot actually do because I simply haven't played it enough before. Like, other than, I mean, the only meta army I can really play is like ogres, and like if I go Bretonia, it's like I can't play Fae because I don't know how to play that combo. I just play freaking Raponce, Henri, and a live damsel. That's it. That's all I play as Bretonia. Like, I can't play anything else. Maybe Luan, because, like, he's pretty easy to micro and all. It's pretty straightforward, and you can actually deploy something other than life damsel to go with him. But yeah, like, I just can't play meta anymore. Like, I want to play meta again. I mean, like, to win tournaments, I know I should be playing meta, but I can't. Like, I've been spending too much time on testing out freaking meme builds now. Anyways, army builds. Oh, BOP thinks Shaman on Chariot has a chance against Mage on Dragon with additional support. Yeah, you know, casters are OP, right? Yeah. They can do it. They just need a little bit more magic for another Traderkin. Which is weird, because like there's another caster on the other side of the battlefield and is a definitely more powerful caster in the with a freaking dragon mount. I guess Tuskor Chariot is equal to dragon mount, eh? Anyways, I digress. Army bolts. We have a bunch of miners with blasting charges, actually Vanguard deployed, just so they can squeeze out a bit more time to push forward. Just get a little closer to their enemy. Siggles, hi there. Nice to see you here. Thanks for joining the stream. Anyways, second line we have a couple rangers and 4 longbeards with great weapons. This I don't know whether this is a good choice here. Like, it makes sense to have a sturdy backline, but there's nothing to kill and drag down the crypt horrors. Like, I've seen builds that are basically deploying multiple ranger units just to crossfire the rather lightly armored Vargeist, but with only 2 rangers you pretty much cannot protect them. And there's nothing like really specialized against the Vargeist other than the couple slayers. I guess you can probably use Rune of Rathren, Ruin only, to blow up zombie chaff, but I guess you can use Flash Bomb to slow down and pin in enemy units, but I don't know. Oh, Bavarat, we are on 1. Fat Kid says 0, Sailanita at 1 right now. So yeah, pretty even so far. On the other side, we have an army of zombies as a front line. One of them, the Tithe, I think I saw the Tithe somewhere. No Tithe, actually. 2 Grave Guards with great weapons and a single Stonesman. And at the back, Crypt Horus, double of them. On the flanks, 2 Black Knights. In the skies, a Vargeist and a Blood Dragon Vampire Lord on a zombie horse. Yeah, just a zombie horse, no dragon. Like, coming in just for those Helm of Discord. Which is not exactly a bad choice, actually. If you can just debuff the Dwarf front line, and that probably will help the Grave Guards to do a little better and buzzsaw their way through the Dwarf infantry and get to the back line. Now, zombies are being deployed in column formation, a really interesting tactic here. They can probably park themselves like right on the edge of the miners' range, and then the explosive charges will only hit the front part of the formations instead of hitting the entire thing. But they do have to be careful. If they have the entire zombie unit within range, then the miners will easily cover the entire unit of zombies with blasting charges, and the whole point of like column deployment is like negated. Anyways, it seems that miners had their eyes on the Stonesman and Grave Gods, but it seems that they realized they'll get tied down by zombies, so they just kind of backed away from that. Now, ooh, I missed out that unit? They got Iron Drakes. Oh god, the glorious flames and explosives obliterating a full unit of zombies. Well, 2 half units, but that's a full unit. Anyway, Crypt Horus also charging into miners, but the explosive charges with the flaming damage actually did some noticeable damage on the Crypt Horus. Black Knights will be charging in, but there are Longbeards here to hold the line, and the Iron Drakes, they are blasting away, just opening up, flaming down that corpse cart right there. Also deploying some burnt leadership effect, and oh my god, the zombies are absolutely obliterated. Now the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord decided to park himself on top of some miners so that the zombies, Crypt Horus, can just quickly kill through all these Longbeards and whatnot, but he's moving a bit, so yeah, it's not actually okay. Actually, it's still covering some of the Longbeards. Dropping down some zombies in as well. Vargeist diving down, hoping to wreck some of these Iron Drakes, and are doing quite successfully in that regard. Longbeards are fighting and are grinding through the Grave Guards alongside the support of some Slayers who are trying to catch the Vargeist. A very good defense from Fekir Recess so far. The question is whether the Dwarfs can hold long enough. Longbeards are holding just fine for now, but there should be some psycho charging coming in from the Vargeist. Black Knights took a lot of damage on one flank, the other not so much. They really haven't been committed into the fight, and as I said before, the Rangers are quickly shut down and routed. One of them are still fighting, but then there are some Crypt Horrors on them already, and yeah, the front line trade is still quite even. Some of the Eindres actually survived that Vargei's onslaught. Now just shooting at whatever they can get their hands on. They probably want to start burning down the Crypt Horrors because they are pushing. They will be able to push for it soon. But alas, the Vargeis are coming down. Zombies are dropped right on top of them, silencing their firepower. Get it? Firepower. And yeah. The Eindrakes will be silenced for now, and there's not a lot of options for the Dawi to push them off either. Longbeards are still holding, but so are the Grave Guards with great weapons. The anti-infantry bonus coming in pretty neat against the Longbeards right now. Sturnsmen also having that self-regeneration simply makes them much more durable than the Longbeards. And yeah, things seems to be going still quite even in terms of balance of power, but I would say that the Vampire Counts might have this one in the bag. I mean, it's still a little too early to tell, but I do think that with the majority of the missiles shut down, the Vampires do have a little bit more advantage over the Dawi. Of course, Slayers will fight to their death, but they're going in against Grave Guards. Not the greatest call here. They need to be back there and start killing off the Crypt Horrors and Vargeis. They can go against the Grave Guards once all the monsters are dead, but when that is not done just yet, they should really focus down these things. But yeah, seems like the balance of power is still very even here. It's pretty much just a prolonged grind game right now. Vargeis stuck among a whole bunch of Dwarf Warriors. The Blood Dragon Vampire Lord is trying to give the area a little bit of Helm of Discord to lower everyone's melee stats and help these units to fight a little longer, but there's just not a lot of damage dealer units for the Vampire Count right now. Sure, these Corpse Guards and Vargeis will take a little less damage, but it's probably better to just use it somewhere else like here. Just hit up those Slayers and let the Grave Guards clean them up quicker, but I don't know. But overall, the Vampire Counts are breaching through the front line here, now getting some of their Grave Guards, the Sternsmen and Crypt Horrors onto the Dwarf Warriors. They are not Longbeards, so they do not have that kind of insane melee defensive stats of the Longbeards and not as impressive of a leadership. You can see that their leadership are dropping down rather low right now, being hit by, a Flash Bomb support from Grombrindle is really nice right here, allowing the Dwarf Warriors to do a little bit more damage against the enemies, but that probably wouldn't matter too much because Crypt Horrors doesn't really rely on their melee defense, but more on their regeneration trait. And there's also a lot of zombies to absorb hits for the for the vampire monsters. So things are looking pretty dicey for the dwarfs till now. Perhaps it is time for some Rune of Wrath and Ruin into the blobs, but the last of the Longbeards are faltering. There are still some Slayers fighting, but they're fighting against Grave Gods and zombies, not the greatest trait for them over here right now. On the far side, okay, there's still a lot of Slayers left on the far side, and they might come in rather handy. The problem is how to fight through all this chaff. Grombrindle has the ability to fight through chaff, but if he gets cycle charged by the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord, things can still be rather risky for this guy. This commentary is ASMR? What the hell? What the hell do you mean? Also, there's like a bit of fan noise at the back because one, I have my fans on, my PC, my laptop fans and my room fan. Because I live in the UK, houses here are not designed to deal with the heat. I don't have an air conditioner, so if I close my windows, turn off the fans, and just stream, I'll just be in a sauna room right now. So let's not do that. So sorry about any extra noise. But yeah, I'm doing stream for fun, not for not to get a heat stroke. So yeah, sorry about that, guys. Anyways, we have a massive blob in here with a lot of... Oh god, the Rune of Wrath and Ruin. This might be bad for the Slayers. Wait, no, not quite. There's not enough infantry support for the undead right now. While speaking of infantry support, zombie summons, as usual, very nice to buffer and take hits for the squishier monsters, which are more susceptible to the Slayers. Another massive flash bomb though to lower everything. melee defenses over here. Blood Dragon though is healing right now with the hunger. Yep. Allowing him to replenish hit points as long as he's staying in the fight, and he is indeed right now. Well, there's still quite a few of these Longbeards and Slayers, Dwarf Warriors left in the fight. But yeah, this really comes down to how good Grombrindle and Slayers can carry this game. Like, there's still way too much chaff and Stunsman for the Slayers to deal with. Like, I don't see how they can kill off the Stunsman right now. Stunsman can probably solo every single Slayer on the field right now, while the rest can trade pretty well into like Longbeards and stuff. But anyways, the Dwarf infantry are moving in. But yeah, things are not going. It is a grind. There's not too much spectacle here, but the Slayers are fighting valiantly. After all, they fight to their last breath. Another massive Helm of Discord. This is why the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord is so deadly. This area of effect, this is essentially an area of effect enfeebling foe that does not cost you any winds of magic. Sure, it costs a couple hundred gold, but you can use it unlimited. As long as there's like, you can like get the cooldown done. And yeah, with all the healing, despite the damage value is not exactly even. Oh well, now the zombies have overtaken the vampire counts in terms of damage value. But like without healing, like even if they have the same damage value, the dwarf simply cannot win in terms of balance of power. Grombrindle is on his last breath. The Slayer is down to 18 unit models, and yeah, sure, they're killing the crit horrors, but how are they supposed to kill the Stunsman with heavy armor, anti-infantry bonus, and regeneration? So yeah. I love how Graveguard and Longbeards are both level tier 3, but there's like 2-tier difference between them nonetheless. To be fair, Graveguards with great weapons are much better into Longbeards with great weapons because of their armor piercing, and Longbeards with great weapons, due to them being great weapons, have less melee defense. So, like, Longbeards is more of an all-purpose armor piercing unit, while the Graveguards are an anti-infantry armor piercing unit, and they're more expensive than Longbeards with great weapons as well. So it actually makes sense for Graveguards to win decisively against not decisively, but have a significant advantage over Longbeards in a straight up melee fight. Now, if there's Thoric on the field, then it's a whole different question, because of the existence of Rune of Doom, and perhaps they can also use Rune of Speed to add more attack buffs, just to help the Longbeards trade a bit better. But I do think that Longbeards with great weapons is probably not the answer in this matchup. You probably want missiles all over the field just to shoot down everything. But yeah, props to Fat Kid for not bringing Thoric. But at this point, Sailanita has won 2 victories, so he will be advancing towards the finals. Vargai's dealt a lot of damage here. Oh god, 1,900 gold worth of damage value. That is some juicy cycle charging for sure. Crypt Ghouls as well, their hunger trait and regeneration at the same time. 2 healing traits kept them in the fight longer than they should, I think. So yeah, Graveguards also did very well. Black Knights not so much, and Zombies just there to absorb the blasting charges, and they did absorb enough blasting charges. For the Dawi here, one of the Longbeards did well. The Slayers fought to their death, so they earned back their value. This one earned back almost twice their value. But the rest of the army, Grombrindle fought well, but the rest of the army... Wait, what? The Dwarf Warrior still fought well. Actually, wait, yeah. Against Vampire Counts, your units usually would do a lot of damage over time, but because of there's so much healing available, you need... Like, damage value, actual damage value is quite inflated in this matchup. So that is one thing to notice, that if you're fighting against Vampire Counts, you need to make sure your units are doing much better, way better than their own cost. Okay, now we're done with this fight, so let's see who's free to showcase their fight. Okay, Lasuros and Lamsos King still seems to be still seems to be duking it out. Let me just check what the hell they're doing. Lasuros did say that he had to go they have to go AFK for a bit. So let's see if they got their stuff done. Like, let's see. It might be another case of technical difficulties, but we don't know. Anyways, Beverett Lich, you and Segos are the biggest fan? Huh. Thank you for your support. Now, being the biggest fan, that means you need to, with great fan power, I don't know, comes great responsibility. And now you have to start making memes about, in the chat, being the biggest fan. Anyways, okay, so Lamb Sauce King and Lasuros are on game 3, which is still a round 1 match. So yeah, they definitely are taking a little too long, but well, it is what it is. Let's see if we received any replay files from the players, actually. Ooh, actually. Give me a second, let me just find something. Okay, Lamb Sauce King seems to have their... Ooh, okay. I'll head out. And Lamb Sauce King actually saved to replay, so let us just check out their earlier games. Now, okay, so let us just check out the first 2 battles between Lamb Sauce King and Lasuros first, and then we can see when whether they're still free, like whether they're ready to play when we're back from the replays. Now, first game, VC versus TK. Oh, let me just grab some water and hydrate myself. It is the Battle of the Undead, so it is quite... how do I put it? The Phoenix King, if you're the substitute human boy, do you guys get to bully me? You can try, huh? You can try, but I dare you to try. Anyways, for the battle itself, we have... is this... Wait, which... I think this is... Yep, this side is Lamb Sauce King, who sent me the file. The other side is Lasuros. For the vampire count, we have a front line of zombies, backed up by... Yep, we don't have screen blocker. Backed up... Wait, we even have the Tithe here. Skeleton warriors as well, just going for a super wide formation to overwhelm the Tomb Kings. And in the forest, we have some sneaky Blood Knights supported by Heinrich Kemmler and what else? Just 2 Blood Knights stacked up together, and there's also more Blood Knights on, well, Crypt Horrors alongside Blood Knights on the other side, going for a full flanking maneuver. Corpse Card with Unholy Lodestone for more regeneration. And yeah, the Chav are just gonna eat a lot of shots from the other side, which is the Tomb Kings. Coming in with the Casket of Souls, a bunch of Laser Eyes of the Desert, the Sepulchral Stalkers Regiment of Renowned version, a front line of Skeleton Spears, one of them, the King Nakas Scorpion Legion, a bunch of Skeleton Archers, one of them, the Blessed Legion of Fikif. I'm just gonna deliberately pronounce it wrong, probably right, but I don't want to swear. Anyways, we have the Nekara Warriors as well as some Tomb Gods on both sides, and the back Kepler Guard, a very solid regenerating infantry. A pretty interesting build here, actually. I do wonder how they can handle the Blood Knights once they get into the back line and all that, but skeletons and zombies will keep the majority of the Tomb King's front line rather static, just to pin them down, make sure they don't do anything weird. And laser eyes of these are the laser eyes Sepulchral Stalker, the non-regiment of renown version. They are pushing up, trying to get a shot on Heinrich Himmler, but they need to back up because they don't want to get tied down by zombies just yet. Skeletons, zombies are moving in, but the Necro warriors should make short work of them. And these super tattered skeleton warriors are no match for against the much healthier skeleton spears. That's going to be a lot of bone-on-bone action, but it is how it goes. Anyways. Ooh. Katab is dropping a Osirian's Incantation of Vengeance, draining away quite a bit of health from the Blood Knight, doing some pretty okay damage, but it seems that it's an overcast, possibly? Yeah, it's an overcast just with additional... Wait, damn! This spell actually did a lot of damage! What the fuck? What the fuck? Is that like 1/3 of the Blood Knight's gone? Okay, this might be a hidden spell that we need to check it out a little bit more. Anyways, Blood Knight's getting on to the Eyes of Desert now, and there's nothing to defend them. And ooh, Blood Knight's still taking quite a bit of damage coming in from like the attacks of Kepler Guard and whatnot. But right now, Tomb King's front line are holding against skeleton infantry just fine, and zombies just fine. The Necro warriors are trading well against the Tithe, and the Blood Knights are in a bit of a pickle right now, being shot up by armor sundering missiles. Where's the Blessed Legion? Right? Yeah, oh, right there. Shooting at the Blood Knights over here, debuffing their armor, but they do have that missile resistance coming in from the flag of the Blood Keep. As long as they're out of melee, they will be enjoying that magic, their missile resistance. And another Osirian's Incantation of Vengeance, doing some pretty nasty damage against the Blood Knights right now. How much Winds of Magic does that cost? I do wonder. 9 Winds of Magic, actually not too bad if you're just deleting like 1/3 of it, or a quarter unit of a Blood Knight. If you're like deploying that spell on the right unit, it's pretty fine, of course, but against the wrong unit, then you're probably just wasting your magic. Anyways, Tomb Guard's getting that Job's Incantation of Curse Blade, also like just getting those cooldown refreshes going, hindering the enemy cooldown and whatnot. But right now the push of Lamb Souls is a bit disjointed. The Crypt Horrors are now in the fight here, but they're a bit late. Either ways, it seems that the Vampire Counts are pulling off a pretty successful assault so far. The missiles on the Tomb King side are almost done for. There's only one Sepulchral Stalker left, as the Eyes of Desert and wait, where's the casket? Yep, both are overwhelmed by the sheer amount of anti-lodge cavalry and Crypt Horrors. And on the other side, the Sepulchral Stalker is being forced to fight against Krell. Not the greatest trait for these guys, just one shot, one kill. Yeah, Krell has massive weapon strength after all, and anti-lodge bonus. Now, Tomb Gods might just be the only hope for the Tomb Kings to pull this fight, to pull out of this fight with a victory. Skeleton Archers are shooting into the Blood Knights, and the Blood Knights not charging into the Skeleton Archers definitely is a mistake, and Heinrich Himmler needs to be fighting alongside the Blood Knights to give them more healing in the form of the Chaos Tomb Blade. I know his abilities well because I've made my very first cheese build with these guys. Anyways, but yeah, he's fighting among the Blood Knights, so the Chaos Tomb Blade would be healing them and also resurrecting dead models as long as all the models have full health. A very, very good health replenishing item right there. Especially it is a passive area of effect item, really, with a pretty decent size of aura as well. Tomb Guards are fighting steadily, but there's pretty much only skeleton spears left on the field. Sure, the Necro warriors should trade well against skeleton infantry. They're earning back pretty much all of their costs, but things are still really rough for the Tomb Kings. There's a Shapti summon being dropped onto the field, so they will be charging into the back of the skeletons, trying to shut them down, but there's nothing to stop the Crypt Horrors anymore. Yeah, things are rough. Now, the Tomb Gods probably can try to win against them with the sheer melee stats. After all, they do have some really solid stats. 48 melee defense on the Halberd variant and 51 melee defense on the Kepler Guard. They can hold for quite a while with their solid leadership as well. The problem is they don't have regeneration, and once all that's left is just infantry, then the infantry will just be left at the mercy of cycle charging from the Blood Knights, who still have 34 unit models left. We'll be doing more fast forward here as it is now in the grind phase. And balance of power is in the favor of the vampire counts. Oh, Kateb is dead as well, so there's not even magic support for the Tomb Kings anymore. So yeah, things are rough, man. Things look really rough. Oh, good. That spell got buffed. The direct damage spell, I forgot the name of it, but whatever. The direct damage spell of the Tomb King's Lore of Nekara got buffed. Okay, that's an interesting information piece. But anyways, everything is still grinding throughout. Tomb Kings still have some solid elite infantry, especially the Kepler Guard and some of the the Nakash Scorpion Legion is still fighting strong. But the problem is that Heinrich Kemmler is just giving this entire blob heals, and there's not much the Tomb Kings can do to counter such reckless healing. So GG to both players here, but it seems that Vampire Counts will be taking the victory. Lamsauce King winning the first game. Army performances wise, 3k worth of damage value on these Blood Knights. Damn, they have been doing strong here. Crypt Horror is also doing pretty well, heal capping themselves pretty much. And Skeleton Chaff, not much to say about them, but these two Blood Knights got hit hard by the curse spell. I forgot the name again, but anyways, Cascade of Souls, definitely not one unit that you want to bring into a Vampire Counts game, because all your missiles are gonna get swarmed eventually. So having an expensive artillery piece is not a good idea when your opponent has zombie summons. Sepulchral Stalkers is actually a good idea. These guys did a lot of damage despite not having the chance to shoot much, because they do have great melee stats and anti-large armor piercing. The great melee stats comes in the form of a Regiment of Renown. So the other one, without the Regiment of Renown status, they can't actually do that much damage overall. Kepler Guard, 1,600 gold of damage value, almost 400 kills, definitely solid performance alongside the Tomb Gods over here. The Halberds one are a very solid infantry, probably my favorite Tomb Kings unit, despite all the constructs, because these Tomb Gods is just such a cost-effective piece of mid-tier infantry. Often, if they get their hands on the right units, cavalry, or monsters, they can and will earn back their own cost. For the rest of the army there, the Nekara warriors did well, killed a lot of chaff, but overall, they just can't really deal with all the healing from the Vampire Counts. The active healing is still a really massive issue for the Tomb Kings after all. So yeah. Okay, let's jump right into... Okay, let's see if the games are still on. Nope, not here. Okay. The two are probably starting to play now. So are they done with their game? Anyways, it seems that the players have started their game, so we will go into another replay. This time, Tomb Kings versus Warriors of Chaos. Oh God, Henry! No, not Henry. Harry the Hammerstorm. Oh, haven't seen this guy in a while, and God, I do think that Archaon is probably not the greatest pick for him, but then you do want Burning Head against Tomb King, so anyways. Oh, technically Kateb isn't even a Tomb King. Well, everything... King is just a social construct, it's just a title. Royalty is just like royalty... Anyone can be a royalty if anyone thinks you are the leader, so it doesn't matter, right? Anyways. Phoenix King, I missed the time when Leech was posting videos. Yes, I have taken the place of Human Boy Yes Yes, and I'm the one who runs a YouTube channel but never posts videos, just like Human Boy Yes Yes. Anyways, now for the army builds, we have a line of skeleton warriors, and then they're backed up by a bunch of Nekara warriors and Kepler Guard. Yep, Kepler Guard, backed up by 3 different Ushabtis with great bows, one of them the Chosens of the Gods. And then at the back there, skeleton spears to provide a little bit of a flank support and protection. Some skeleton horsemen. I do think that skeleton horseman is not great. Instead, you probably want Nekara horsemen, which is a much better mid-tier cavalry, like a medium cav. Like, they have some okay armor, but not greatest either. Anyways, Arkan the Black approaching the front line a little too close. Got hit by a massive Spirit Leech. Taking some HP damage. Grievin, Khalida, you do realize that there's like women being pharaoh in ancient Egypt, right? So Khalida is actually makes sense to be, yeah, Khalida being one of the Tomb King's leader, it actually makes sense. Anyways, Arkan is just constantly dropping Spirit Leech onto Arkan the Black here because he can't heal. Unless you, of course, you get the Realm of Souls active, then he will receive some form of healing. On the other side, we have a line of Chaos Warriors and then a whole lot of Marauder chaff in the front. Harry is getting hit hard by the Ushabti with Great Bows, a really good use of that firepower there, but that also means that the Chaos Warriors are untouched so far. So especially the Chaos Warriors of Khorne with extra melee attack. Anyways, on the side there, Chaos Knights of Nurgle fighting against Nekara Horsemen. Actually, yeah, this is a pretty good cavalry, but definitely not good enough to fight a freaking Chaos Knights with poison and 57 melee defense. So they are gonna get wrecked, and there's not much the Tomb Kings can do other than shoot them down with the Ushabti with great bows. Anyways, a summoned unit of skeletons was dropped onto Archaon, and Harry trying to slow him down, but oh wait, this is a summoned one. These are skeleton horsemen just trying to tie down Archaon. Well, over here, Nekara warriors trading against Marauders should do just fine, but the problem is, can the Ushabti shoot down all the mobility and heavily armored threats of Chaos? We shall see. Now, the first wave of Marauders have been repelled, and the skeletons, they have died enough to trigger the first 2 stages of Realm of Souls. Getting cut up some, getting Arkan the Black a little bit of healing, but there's still nothing to hit up the Chaos Warriors just yet, and they're just super healthy right now. Walking into the fight completely untouched. Of course, the other ones got hit hard, but there's still a lot of Chaos Warriors walking forward, and on the side there are skeleton horses and Necro horses and skeleton warriors trying their hardest to tie down all those skeletons, but I mean tying down all those Chaos Warriors and whatnot, but things are looking quite rough as the mobility side, the Tomb Kings are just completely losing that game, and all they can do is just try to hold on as long as possible with the infantry and allow the Chosen of the Gods and Ushabtis to shoot down everything from the Tomb King, from the Warriors of Chaos side. But the Chosen of the Gods are running low on ammo. They're shooting at the routing unit of Chaos Warriors, but they need to start shooting at the blobs and maximize their damage, because you're shooting at a tattered unit, so a lot of scattered shots actually miss their targets. And there's still a lot of Chaos Warriors to fight. Especially one of the Ushabtis are now compromised. Chaos Knights of Nurgle are rushing in and should be threatening the Ushabtis. Although on this side, these Ushabtis are free to fire into the Chaos Knights of Nurgle. Even has a summon unit of... Wait, is that... Wait, why is there a summon unit of Ushabti? You get 2 summons now? What? What? When did that... Anyways, we have a Realm of Soul summons on here. It's weird. Anyways, not sure what happened there, but we have unfortunately, the Chosen of the Gods and some of the Ushabtis are now being compromised by the Chaos Knights of Nurgle, and Spirit Leeches are coming in onto Harry Hammerstorm. Arkan the Black still have some health left, but he wants to get out of that fight as soon as possible. Archaon is still around and can still drop Spirit Leech onto the Tomb King's leader. He's trying to challenge Harry, but oh no, I don't like this idea. I don't like this idea. Archaon is just too close, too threatening of a threat for Arkan the Black to be fighting in there. Now, Ushabtis are shooting. Oh, you can fill the bar twice now. That makes sense now. Okay, that makes sense. I haven't played Tomb Kings in ages. You can probably tell by my lack of knowledge on their new updates. But yeah, as I said before, Arkan the Black do not want to stay around Arkan because he got hit by another Spirit Leech and he does not have any more healing on the field. And things are looking quite dicey for the guy right now. On the far side, Chaos Knights of Nurgle, after getting hit by Ushabtis, actually is in a prolonged grind against skeleton horses, and at this point I do think that the Tomb Kings no longer has what it takes to win the game, because there's just too many heavy armor and heavy metal chaos threats silencing all the Ushabtis. They do not have any means to counteract the Chaos Knights at this point. And that will be GG with Lasuros throwing the towel. Harry can't actually win this game, but the Chaos Knights have won it for him, and the Chaos Warriors of Khorne just clearing out chaff, while Archaon the Ever-Chosen dropping Spirit Leech again and again, just eliminating Arkan the Black with his powerful spell casting ability and shutting down Chosen of the Gods with his melee power. Chaos Warriors did pretty well, but mostly it's just Spirit Leeching. And the fact that Chaos Knight was able to fight through the flanks, the Nurgle Knights able to fight through the flanks, still having quite a bit of HP left, and then shutting down the Ushabtis, eliminating all hopes of Tomb Kings being able to shoot down the heavily armored warriors of Chaos build without the Ushabtis and whatnot. Does Harry's passive not work? Well, it might work, but he was fighting a lot of healthy skeleton unit, so it doesn't really matter. Like, Harry's passive might have worked, but they're just fighting skeletons, so it's not like the biggest impact on the battlefield, honestly. Okay, Lasuros King and okay, cool. Lasuros King has finished. It seems that Lasuros King has pushed through to the next stage against Out There 58, who actually won against Rainy Frog. Now that comes in as a bit of a surprise. I thought, okay, so from what I heard from Human Boy, Rainy Frog is a very promising rising star, and I haven't really heard of Out There before, so maybe he has been there for a little longer, but I've not been the most active among tournaments these days, so I actually did not know. Anyways, new player 20, spectate, time to go in. Oh, I forgot, no! Okay. Ooh, Nurgle versus Greenskin. Now that is gonna be an interesting fight. Wait, I'm not seeing enough of the units I want to see. This is weird, but okay, let's see what happens. Oh, Sakura, you are Lasuro, I assume. Necropolis Knights might be necessary for this matchup. Constructs are immune to Harry's passive and have AP mobility. Seems kind of important. I do agree, but like, you don't want too many, just probably 2, and then just fill the rest with skeleton horsemen to deal with in case marauders and whatnot. But yeah. Raining Frog, that's so sweet but so wrong. Oh, well, to be fair, I didn't actually speak to, well, no. Well, yeah. Human Boy does think that you are a promising player, so, I mean, I think I've seen it in one of the conversations we had in the Herald of Council conversations, so there's that. Thanks for the reminder. I did forget about the blocker. Lucina, appreciate that. Sakura, you made a big oopsies against Lasuros. We'll see. We will expose your oopsie in the future, but since we do have that replay now, we'll showcase it later. But for now, let's focus on the battle itself. We have a front line of goblins, and then backed up by 4 squig herds. There are some orc boys as well, just to provide a little bit more fightiness in the whole army. At the back, Rusty Airs, Orc Air Boys, and Goblin Archers, probably running out of funds on that one. so they just have to go for the cheap option. A unit of the Swamp Things to reduce enemy melee attack gives terror, and also having a regeneration staying power of monstrous infantry. On the other side, River Trolls. It seems that River Trolls are getting quite popular these days. I did saw... Oh, Lamsauce King, were you... I know you're probably not watching this part of the stream, but were you watching Strat Games using those River Trolls last week? Because that's... I assume that's why people start using it, because I started trying it out and failed that one. Lost a game of Greenskins because of it, but to be fair, that was not the greatest matchup for use of Greenskins, which is against Empire. I mean, River Trolls is not that great against Empire, who doesn't really rely on melee attack. Anyways, on the sides, we have Orc Boy Biggins on both ends. 4 of them, in fact, one of them, the Broken Tusk Mob. On the other side, we have a much narrower, more narrow Nurgle army. Oh, Terror Trolls. Right, yeah, the River Trolls, the Swamp Things has Terror, so they are immune to Terror themselves, but regular River Trolls, not so much, though. Anyways, Nurgle army, we have Chaos Warhounds, Chaos Knights of Nurgle. Really? Okay, we're really seeing some Chaos Knights today. Nurglings in the front line with a few Chosens of Nurgle. This is gonna be dicey because there's no Kugaf for the arrows to shoot at. They just need to deal with the Chosens, which is extremely tough. We also have a bunch of heavily armored, high melee defense, poison debuffing Chaos Knights of Nurgle, and then Chaos Warhounds. Now the Exalted Hero as well, he will be supporting the Herald of Nurgle in the skies. He is charging straight into the Orc Boy Biggins, fighting against a bunch of armor-piercing anti-large, but he himself does do armor-piercing as well. And with the Cloud of Flies, Heroic Killing Blow, and Helm of Many Eyes active, he has a whopping 113 melee defense. This is ridiculous. 675 melee weapon strength as well. He's just not taking that much damage from the Orc Boy Biggins. Frontline wise, the melee engagement has truly begun, with goblins charging into Nurglings and the Squidherds obliterating those Nurglings, but they are not so easy to obliterate the Chosens of Nurgle, which is going to be a big problem here. Wurzak is using his spells but being hit by Rancid Visitation. He's not going to stay around for too long because of the lack of regeneration. So things are looking already quite tough for the Greenskins. Balance of Power is in the favor of Greenskins, but honestly, I'm not too sure at this point. A lot of the missiles right now are getting compromised by Hounds, and the River Trolls and Squidherds are just not in place to shut them down fast enough. Yeah, things are looking quite rough. On the far side here, with the Nurgle Chaos Knights charging straight into the Orc Boy Biggins, getting that charge damage. The Orc Boy Biggins with their piss poor melee stats, 22 melee attack, 26 melee defense, they are just taking a shit ton of damage. Like, the Nurgle army isn't that thick right now. Like, it's not that thick in terms of individual unit and not that wide, but whatever's left on the field actually have a lot of staying power. Well, that said, if they get overwhelmed by Broken Tusk Mob and another unit of Orc Boy Biggins, they still have to die. But the problem is that the Nurgle Chosen are they do have the potential to fight forever, especially if Wurzak gets sniped out by Rancid Visitations. But yeah, like if healing starts coming in for Nurgle, things might look a little bit different. But it seems that for now, the Chosens are eating quite a bit of damage, especially when they're overwhelmed in terms of numbers. On the far side, wait, let's see. Chaos Knights of Nurgle are being forced to fight River Trolls. Now, this is a fight that the River Trolls make sense to fight with, because they lower enemies' melee attack, so they are now down to 34 melee attack, and not doing as much damage against the River Trolls at 40 melee defense as they were before the attack debuff, especially with a war going on. Now, all these Chosens of Nurgle, Chaos Knights are all taking substantial damage from everything that is overwhelming them. Now, things are looking very solid for the Greenskins, as there's just no healing coming in for the Chosens and whatnot. Now, Chosens, despite being super elite and whatnot, one thing being rather weak about them is that they still don't have immune to psychology. They just rely on their leadership. And against something with terror, that is not too reliable. They got terror routed earlier for a bit, and now they took a lot of unnecessary damage. Rancid Visitations is really draining away Rezak's health, but it's just not doing it fast enough. The Exalted Hero of Nurgle is chasing after Rezak right now, but he doesn't really care, while the rest of the... Well, he does care, but at this point, the Greenskins do have a major advantage over army size. All the archers actually managed to came back and start shooting down the Herald of Nurgle. Balance of power is in the favor of Lamsauce King by a majority, by a significant amount. And yeah, Squigs are really solid right now. They just do a lot of cost-efficient damage. And Squigs plus a Goblin frontline is just the standard frontline for the Greenskins these days. Sure, that is like, what, a 500 gold worth of unit in total, but they can trade upwards into other units, still having quite a bit of HP retaining in the end. And at this point, it is pretty much the victory of Greenskins, as the Exalted Hero, without immune to psychology or fear, he is actually terror routed by the Swamp Things, who does have terror themselves. Overall, a lot of very good trades, and also a random Brain Burst out on the field. Not trying to get damage in, but more to get the Bonewood Staff active to get that 12 melee attack bonus. Some more Stream of Corruption going down the line, blasting away at the archers, trying to silence them so that they won't be hurting the Herald of Nurgle, but that's probably way too late right now, as the last of the Chosens are being surrounded by the Green Tide and being hit hard, while the River Trolls, they themselves, their melee attack are being dropped down to 36 only, all thanks to the body odor. All thanks to the BO problem of the River Trolls, and yeah, the Herald of Nurgle stuck among a bunch of Orc Warboy Biggins should be finished off soonish. What else do we have here? Orc Airboys somehow being tied in melee combat against the Exalted Heroes of Nurgle, so yeah, it will take some time for them to finish the Exalted Hero. Also, Scream of Corruption going down, doing more damage, but this doesn't really matter at this point. Herald is gonna be dead, and once he dies, army losses will kick in, and that shall be the end of the Greenskins. And yeah, there you go. First game will be going to Lamsauce King. I do need to save the... Lamsauce King versus out there. Okay. 1. Out there 1. Game 1. Okay. So, army performances, River Trolls did actually decent. They actually stayed full health because there's not a lot of good threats against them. Chosen's definitely not, and there's simply no anti-large units to fight them in this battle. And without anti-large, then the melee attack debuff can be quite significant, because, well, now the hit chance of the units are significantly lowered against the River Trolls. The rest of the army, Orc Borvoy Biggins, 2 of them did pretty well. 3 of them did pretty well. 1 of them did not. As they got hit hard by the Nurgle Chaos Knight charge, and the archers did a lot of damage over the course of battle, doing some very cost-effective work. Especially the Rusty Airs, probably the best unit, like the best archer unit on the entire Greenskin army. They are accurate enough with armor sundering. They also boost their own. They not only boost their own damage, but also their friendlies' missile damage and melee damage by stripping away enemy armor. And Orc Airboys just have high missile strength in total, so even with the lack of accuracy, they still pack quite a bit of a punch. And yeah, overall, damn, the Squig hurts. Most of them earn back their value. This one still earned back most of their value as well, and having all their unit models intact. Well, unfortunately though, the Goblins will be taking the hits for the Squig, so yeah, they took a lot of hits and suffered heavy losses. On the other side though, so the Chosen definitely did solid work here, fighting almost to their death. Not quite so when they're hit by Terror, but overall solid work. But the Chaos Knights of Nurgle struggle to do damage here, especially when they're fighting against River Troll, where their melee attack got debuffed. As for the heroes there, Exalted Hero of Nurgle did some good damage, but just not enough to carry the game. Neither did the Herald of Nurgle. Rancid Visitation is a good spell for sure, but there's just too much green on the field. It is green versus green, and the more numerous Green Tide has won the day. Plague Drones did horrible. Holy crap. 95 damage value. They must have got shot hard by all the greenskin arrow fire. And yeah, the Nurglings and Warhounds did minimal damage overall. I forgot to get the army blocker out. There we go. Oh god, no! I feel bad for whatever the out there is gonna face. Lucina, I'm not a believer in plague drone, neither am I. They just feels like crap unit to use. So yeah. Squig would lose hard to Chosen if Wurzag dies, but well, yeah, the Wurzag is there and actually barely managed to survive, so things were quite rough because of all those stat buffs coming from the Bonewood Staff and Mwahaha, of course, but yeah, mostly Bonewood Staff. A very nice micro from Lambsaw's King to just utilize the Greenskin unit well, especially now that Greenskin's, as Strat Games mentioned, is pretty dang buff right now. They just have a solid roster overall with, especially with the cost-efficient Squig buffs. Gorgon more tricking everyone into thinking bigger is better, just to inject roids into goblins and squigs. And don't forget they actually boosted the pump wagons like crazy. So there's also that. I mean, honestly, the only reason I would bring like rot flies and plague drones is I probably don't bring rot flies. I would just bring plague drones with their Death's Head. That's probably the only reason I would bring them. But then again, I don't play Nurgle, so I just don't use them in general. Yeah. If you land them, they're basically never getting back up. Indeed, they are rather squishy. Oh god, I feel bad for Nurgle. I mean, feel bad for Khorne right now, because we are seeing a double Gorgon build alongside a Jabberslave. Now, I do have another double Gorgon coming in from the man, the myth, the legend who he himself invented, or at least made an infamous name for the double Gorgon plus Jabberslave build. Yeah, Strike Game himself. Because he was playing in the Ladies Quest tournament, and I am casting a few games from there in the first stage, at least. Probably will be casting more games in the future, but right now I'm casting games from the first stage, and the double Gorgon build is scheduled to be released on Monday, and you shall see how oppressive double Gorgon can be. Now, against Khorne, I'm not sure whether it's as good as before, but we shall see. For the army builds here, a front line of Angora Spears, double Centaur, well, 4 Centaurs with throwing axes, and a couple Angora Raiders, and then, well, the dreaded double Gorgon. You don't even need the Bloodbird Behemoth, you just need these 2 giant pieces of anti-large armor-piercing monsters. We also have the Great Bray Shaman of Wild coming in with the Lore of Tradergin, and also a Jabberslave. On the other side of the field, we have a front line of Bloodletters of Khorne. Probably a mistake here against the Beastman, honestly. Like, against Beastman, armor piercing is often useless because of how lightly armored their roster is. Like, the entire roster are pretty much low on armor except the chariots and the Bestigors and Doombull and Gorbull. Yeah, and the Bull heroes and characters. Like, everything else have low armor, so it doesn't make sense to bring armor-piercing anti-infantry units where they can only do good against Bestigors. Also, there's some Skull Crushers on the side with Flesh Hounds support. Looking at the build, I think Lambsaws have this one. Like, I think pretty much he can win this one. Like, there's nothing to handle the Gorgon right now. Sure, Skull Crusher maybe, but then everything else can throw axes to kill them. Like, the Flesh Hounds are trying their best to catch up and deal with the Centaurs, but they're already taking a lot of skirmish fire damage, and once the Flesh Hounds go down, then there's nothing to stop the Centaurs to chip away and kite the skull crushers to death. Anyways, the triple single entities are going in now, and I feel bad for the blood throne. It's gonna die. It's gonna die. It's gonna die horrible death. Look at the HP drop, how fast it is. Oh god. Oh, the brutality. Ah, it just hurts. Anyways, at the back there, Flesh Hounds taking a lot of damage from the Overwatch fire and also being just kited. On the side there, though, a good catch by the Skull Crushers. Actually, they should just stay there and beat down the goddamn Grey Shaman. Oh, a missed opportunity there. Giving up on the Grey Shaman and instead trying to get onto the Sentinels and Ungor Raiders. I mean, it is still a good choice to just kill the Sentinels first, but not getting the Grey Shaman is just gonna get you stuff like this. Traderkin overcast version. Demon Shield to counter. Really nice cast there. Demon Shield only lasts for another, like, it lasts for 13 seconds in total, but Traderkin lasts way longer. And also missed out quite a good chunk of that spell cast overall. Anyways, Ungor Raiders are getting compromised, but the kiting game is still going pretty strong for the Beastmen. There's still like 3 units of Sentinels surviving. One of them probably got routed off the map. But yeah, not really much stuff for them to kill off the Gorgon right now, and Jabberslaves. I mean, they obliterated the Ungor infantry line, but that's about it. Like, they still have to deal with the Sentinels. Now, oh, okay. 1 unit of routed, Sentinels have returned, and they will start kiting away at the Skull Crushers. These Sentinels, if they go into melee against these so talented Flesh Hounds, they might actually win the fight. But either way, I digressed. Let's go back into Blood Fight, where Valkia is trying her best to do damage against all these thick boy single entities. But other than the Jabberslav, all the monsters have healing. I mean, self-regeneration, but still, healing is healing. And the Great Grey Shaman of WoW is just cycle-charging all these Bloodletters to death. And yeah, I think things are pretty set at this point. Chaos Warriors are pushing, trying to drive away the Ungor Spears and whatnot. But as I said before, Sentinels are still kiting, and they charge into the Flesh Hounds, kill them, or got caught but still managed to kill them. Either ways, they managed to kill them. And there's one last mobility to worry about. Although there are some Sentinels being caught by the Skull Crushers, which is definitely a mistake from Lamsauce right there. Then the Sentinels needs to keep on moving and just chipping away the health of the Skull Crushers. Like these ones here, just trying to throw their axes into the face of Skull Crushers, slowly but surely chipping their health away. Over here, the Jabberslav needs to charge onto this unit of Blood Letters of Khorne, because what it can do is to lower enemies' leadership and start draining their hit points away with a Mortis Engine effect, all thanks to the Aura of Madness ability. And these Blood Letters of Khorne are definitely below half leadership. Well, for a second there, they got back into full leadership, like above half leadership, but then they quickly fluctuated below. So yeah, you do want to keep your Jabberslav onto low leadership units, just so you can maximize that Mortis Engine effect. On the far side there, Skull Crushers, realizing that they cannot and would never catch the Sentinels with Throwing Axes, decided to go into this main melee block fight, which is not going too good for the Khorne army right now. A massive Traderkin hitting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units of the Khorne army, accruing some ridiculous value for sure. How much value? 1,200 gold worth of damage value. Not too much, actually, lower than I expected, but I guess that's because a lot of them are actually infantry and whatnot, and also some of that damage got mitigated by the Demon Shield. Either ways, the Gorgons are healing right now. A Spear of Sleipnir goes down the line, doing some minor damage to the Sentinels, probably not even doing much model damage. Actually killed a few models, but that's about it. And yeah, the rest of the Bloodletters, they are just slowly being drained and cycle charged to death by the Jabberslav, as well as the Gorgons right now. All of them getting... Nope, not all of them. Just one unit, and maybe... Yeah, just one unit of them being hit by the Aura of Menace and a massive charge impact damage. Dishing out some, what, 1/6 of the unit HP gone from the Chaos Warriors of Khorne. This is why, like, big monsters are so oppressive, because the collision damage is still definitely problematic right now. Like, splash damage says their splash damage is capped to like a maximum number of models, but collision damage, that is not limited by splash damage limits. So yeah, things can be quite oppressive. Anyways, another traitor again, Valkyria being hit in the very last second before he could leave the spellcasting range, and at this point, army losses is hit, and victory shall belong to Lasuros King once more. Oof. A very good game from Lasuros King and a valiant fight from out there, but I do think that Lasuros King has a way better build and oppressive build in terms of Gorgon. I don't know if Fruit Rules, the committee of Fruit Rules are listening to my stream or not, but if you are, can you please like ban double Gorgons or something? Like make them super weapons? Because two self-healing large single entities with oppressive stat and mass is not too fun and interactive to play with. Just saying. Anyways. Sorry, Strat Games, but I do think that for the betterment of balance in tournaments, this has to go. The double Gorgon has to go. Anyways, army performance-wise, the Jabber's Life did a lot of damage with the health drain, and double Gorgon still have plenty of health left, despite fighting through enemy units the whole time being hunted down by Valkyria the Bloody. They are just good with healing and good damage. Gorgons are faster than Skull Crusher. What the hell, man? Okay, this is pretty ridiculous, but I guess one more reason to ban them, I guess. Ban double Gorgons. Anyways, great Brave Shaman of Wild. 1,600 gold of damage value. The Law of Trade again is just still as oppressive as before. The area of effect direct damage and very cost efficient as well. Now, unlike the other spellcast, which is Flock of Doom, does a lot less damage. Basically a fraction of the damage of Tradergin. But yeah. Anyway, Centaurs with Throwing Axes did some really cost-effective damage as well, and Angkor Raiders plus the Angkor front line got obliterated by the Khorne elites. As I said before, though, Bloodletters just not good into this matchup. They're just way too expensive and rather glass cannony. They can obliterate Angkors just fine, but Angkors are never the focus of a Beastman army. Yeah, infantry is never a focus of the Beastman army, really. You want to be dealing with their mobility and their monsters, really. Skull Crushers did meh, being hunted down by Throwing Axes. There's even an Exalted Bloodletters of Khorne, but even then they just didn't really earn back their own value. Blood Shrine of Khorne obliterated, sniped out by double Gorgon, and the rest of the army as well, not doing too well here. Valkyria did her best, but her best is still not enough. Alright, that shall be the conclusion of both semifinals. Let us go into finals, which is Lasuros King versus Sailanita. And Sailanita is here. They shall be picking their armies. So we shall be stalling time a bit with me blabbering around about how OP double Gorgon is. No problem with the suggestion unit is hardcore, however, Beastman can be switched to Blood Brute plus Butchers of Kalgangar instead of double Gorgon. Oh god! Not the healing stack, but well, actually that would be funny, because like, if you're using Butchers of Kalgangar, one way you can play them is just stack them up with attack buffs, and I really love to use it. I will showcase another, I will showcase this build in Wednesday short video. Like, these days I'm just doing longer videos on Monday and Monday and Fridays, and then a shorter video in between on Wednesdays, while streams will be on the weekends. So yeah, that's pretty much my schedule these days. Just trying to make the upload more consistent. But yeah, on Wednesday I have actually a melee stacking showcase of like a minute or two with a Beastman army. So yeah, things are pretty funny too. Anyways, let's see. Skull Crushers should go deal with those single entities instead of chasing the Centaurs. I do agree with that. They should have been there to shut down the Brave Shaman of Wild Magic. Like, they can't catch Centaurs anyways, so might as well just make them do something, like run down enemies, deal with single entities and whatnot. They're much better like hardcore fighters and whatnot. Strike Games, can't wait to see the vid. Yeah, I can't wait to show everyone how broken double Gorgon is as well. Oh, Death's Head are bad for their cost. Okay, fair. Also inaccurate. Okay, that makes sense. 95 speed of Flash Hounds to 92 speed of of Sentinels, and Flash Hounds can't close the gap. Okay, so back to the battle before, where out there was trying to chase Sentinels with Flash Hounds and whatnot. I do think that other than Flash, like, he spent way too much money on the front line there, and honestly, a Marauder front line of Khorne can probably already beat all those Angor's infantry. So all the extra funds could have been spent on War Hounds and maybe another unit of Flash Hounds to pressure the Sentinels, and that's probably a better way to do it. Like, against Beastmen, you always need to be careful of their mobility. Like, Sentinels are just such cost-efficient light cavalry, and they essentially are a unit with frenzy because of the Fury. The Wild Fury ability, I forgot the name, but I know there's a Fury in there somewhere. But Charge of Fury or something, like, they have additional melee stats, like attack stats. So they can be very cost effective in melee fights, and I do enjoy using them a lot. So you do need to be careful with them. So just spam mobility like Flash Hounds and Warhounds combined. Warhounds have a slightly better speed. I mean, Warhounds are just great at soaking up throwing axis shots and eventually catch up with Sentinels and whatnot. Does need a little bit of a micro, but yeah, things can be quite rough. Ooh, now we're seeing a Nurgle build versus High Elves. Ooh. Wait, what? What? Why? Why are you bringing that unit? Oh god, we've already established. Oh, why? Never mind. To be honest, why wouldn't you go Minotaurs versus Beastman? Actually, yeah, that would be a way better. Actually, throwing axes and Minotaurs might be a good idea here. With Khorne versus Beastman, because throwing axes, they will trade against the Sentinel throwing axes, and being slightly cheaper, that's a pretty decent trade overall. And then having Warhounds and whatnot to chase down the Sentinel throwing axes, and having the Skull Crushers to pressure the flanks. And then Minotaurs, or just not bring Skull Crushers and instead bring the more cost-efficient Minotaurs of Khorne, which has higher armor and just better attack stats. But yeah. Armor is irrelevant in Mino Mirror, but they do have Frenzy, so that gives them a little bit more edge over Beastmen Minotaurs. I do think that would be the case. And also tank missiles. Like, Angor Raiders would be an annoying issue against, like, a light armored Minotaur. I mean, as long as you can shut down the Sentinels and then you just win the straight up melee engagement. Anyways, we shall set up the scoreboard as well. I just need to edit things a bit. No, 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 please don't, please don't. Oh, no, ah. Oh god. Scoreboard. Anyways, let us just turn off the army blocker left and right. Okay, there we go. And then we have where's the lamb sauce? Okay. I'll fix the positions later. Actually, you know what? Okay, there we go. Okay, for now. That'll do for now. Okay, both are on 0 right now, and the final showdown of the day, and then we'll check out the other replays that we've received over the course of the tournament. Now, for the army builds here, we have Nurgle versus High Elves, with Lambsauce King going for Nurgle, Sailanita going for High Elves. A front line of Nurglings backed up by a bunch of Chaos Marauders of Nurgle, from Lasuros King's side. They will be backed up by Plague Toads of Nurgle, and in disguise a couple Rot Flies, which is the one unit that I was agonizing about. And then a couple Chaos Warhounds and 2 Chaos Knights with Chaos Knights of Nurgle, and leading the army would be a Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Nurgle. I do think that this might just be a mistake against the High Elves. I mean, because okay, so not bringing heroes usually aren't big of a deal, but because the Exalted Heroes of Nurgle are such a cost-efficient melee unit, they have good stats and armor piercing, and poison, and a lot of melee defense. So in a group fight with the healing from the Nurgle army, they actually can beat Imrik on a 3-to-1 basis. And like the heroes are always fighting together anyway, so they should be treated as like a free unit squad, something like that. And like Imrik right now can go around the battlefield however he like, and there's little to stop him. Anyways, on the other side of the battlefield, we have spears and also 3 white lions, one of them the pure main company, backed up by a bunch of Loathsome Sea Guard and archers. And on the flanks there, we have some Illyrian Reaver archers. On the ground, for the magic support, we have a Mage of Life on a Elven Steed, providing healing for the Frostheart Phoenix and Imrik on... I forgot the name of the dragon. It's hard to pronounce Elven names. Either ways, I do think that build-wise, Sailanita has this hammered out. I mean, like, I wouldn't say this is the optimal anti-Nurgle build, but against Lasuros King's build, this is definitely a solid one, because there's simply no way for the Nurgle army to deal with these air force. Like, perhaps they can try bogging them down on the ground and surrounding it with Plague Toads, but then you're losing your melee pushing power. And there's just no cost-efficient melee units to deal with Imrik right now. The best bet of the matchup is definitely the double Exalted Heroes, but they're not here as well. So yeah, I do think that things are not exactly the greatest for the Nurgle army right now. Nurglings are shining though. Okay. Yeah. Anyways, let's just go back into battle where the Illyrian Reavers are being overwhelmed by Chaos Knights with lances, and the frontline push is going underway. Nurglings though unfortunately get obliterated by White Lions as expected, while on the side here, Illyrian Reavers are trying to hold back the Chaos Knights with lances with the help of Imrik and the Frostheart Phoenix. Rot Flies, double of them, are trying to do a surround here. Perhaps the Illyrian Reavers will soon be routed off by this overwhelming force. Even the goddamn Chaos Sorcerer Lord is coming in to get a fight. But Mage of Life coming in for those heals, so they will quickly get their health topped up. Something needs to be done with the healing of the High Elves. While in the front line, things are going pretty even. And balance of power is slightly in the favor of High Elves, even because of so much missile pressure is still present now, unloading their arrows into this blob right now. Mage of Life being pursued by the Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Nurgle, providing some nice damage with the Filth Mace. But that's not going to stop it from dropping heals. I guess there's some heals dropped in earlier, but anyways, being poisoned, Imrik is struggling to get off the ground, but the front line is just holding just fine for the High Elf army here. White Lions are taking damage, but they are just beating back a bunch of Marauders, and Plague Toads are also suffering heavily. Missiles at the back here shooting into this blob, but they probably should be shooting into the into the Plague Toads, who are still holding with a lot of HP left. But yeah. The Chaos Knights are holding strong though, with their high melee defense of 57. Imrik still have 74 melee attack, but any extra melee defense and damage mitigation is always nice. And so far, Nurgle seems to be failing to shut down the archers at the back. Some of the Chaos Knights of Nurgle are finally moving into shutting down the archers, but it might just be a little too late, and they have suffered massive casualties from this staunch line of spears. And fighting through a bunch of mobility. But yeah, Rothfly seems to be doing some valiant effort trying to work down enemy targets and whatnot, but they have been taking quite a bit of damage, and somebody's been constantly messaging me on Discord. Let me just turn that off because the beeping sound is annoying. Anyways, Chaos Knights of Nurgle are... Wait, something is constantly pinging me. What the fuck? Ugh. Anyways, we can deal with that later after the game. The White Lions are buckling now after fighting for so long. They did their job, I guess. Wait, can we see their damage value? Okay, they didn't quite do their job because they're just fighting chaff, but they've been holding the line for quite a bit now. Chaos Knights are sundered by the pure main comedy. They do have armor sundering. Don't forget about that part. And are taking quite a bit of damage, but this blob, unholy blob of rot flies, actually heal capping themselves. What the freaking hell? They don't have regeneration, so that came from all those. That definitely came from Fleshy Abundance or the Army ability. I forgot the name of that one. I don't usually play Nurgle anyways. But yeah. Now here comes probably a Duelist below trying to obliterating the Chaos Knights and doing quite a bit of work here, while the Chaos Sorcerer is trying to finish off the Mage of Life to deny any further healing to the Nurgle army. Balance of Power is in the middle for a second there, but that Duelist below really equalizing things, making the outcome a little bit more bleak for the Nurgle army. But right now the High Elf army is buckling because of their low unit model HP. They just can't fight well in a battle of attrition unless they are a Phoenix Guard. And on top of that, Plague Toad's anti-infantry armor piercing just trade well, especially with the support of Marauders and Nurglings. So the White Lions have buckled, leaving only pretty much Imric and and the Frostheart Phoenix and a single Mage of Life and a unit of Lothern Seaguard in the blob. But the Mage of Life is not gonna be around for too long. She is pressured hard by the Chaos Sorcerer Lord. And while Imric is just leaping around the battlefield trying to dish out more damage, but so far he did 2,000 gold worth of damage value. He needs to do another 1,000 more just to earn back his own value. Things are looking quite rough for the High Elves right now, leaving only Frostheart Phoenix and Imric in the fight. But Frostheart Phoenix is extremely tanky, especially with his buff, the Blizzard Aura, reducing enemy melee attack and damage. So Nurgle army, already not great at dealing damage in melee, will have their effectiveness reduced even further. Now the Mage of Life is really running for her life right now, but it's not quite successful, being constantly debuffed in terms of being hit by poison and whatnot, while the unholy blob here is still trying to grind down Imric. But the healing once again comes in for the High Elves, keeping Imric in the fight. Miasma of Pestilence though reducing the attack of Imric, but I do think that the Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Nurgle should have saved those funds for more Fleshy Abundance. Yeah, perhaps an overcast version on all the Plague Toads, Chaos Knights, and Rotflies would be a great one. But alas, a spell cast cannot be retrieved. Those Winds of Magic is gone, so there goes the magic. And well, at least the Chaos Sorcerer Lord is slowly but surely hunting down the Mage of Life. Still struggling to connect despite having the charge acceleration. He's only slower by 6 speed, so with the charge acceleration, he actually can put some hits into the High Elf caster. Now with the grind, it seems that eventually with the tenacity of Nurgle, the Nurgle army would take this game. I actually thought the High Elves had this one, but it seems that I am wrong. The High Elf army simply do not have enough damage to cut through all those Plague Toads. And with that, Imric will be surrounded when another healing came in from the Mage of Life. Yeah, she's still not being hunted down just yet. Yeah, sure, there is poison slowing her speed, but she is moving, and as usual, hitbox connection and the charge animation is weird, so there's not actually hits onto the Mage of Life that frequently. Another Miasma of Pestilence here, reducing that damage output from Imric, down to 50 melee attack, but okay, so that probably would be useful against a Chaos Sorcerer Lord with like a stupid amount of melee defense. 56 melee, no, that's Imric. 49 melee defense, but yeah. Oh shit, there's still a lot of Marauders in here, and a very good job from Lamsauce King actually. One thing I didn't say is that he actually managed to clean up all the routing units, so there's not much remaining resources for the High Elf to use. Everything else is either shattered or being in the process of being chased off by the Nurgle army. So Imric has to stay and fight, because the Frostheart Phoenix is in fighting right now. And Dragon stay in fighting means that he'll be surrounded by a dozen of unit models. You can see that the large hitbox of a Dragon means that a lot of units can actually come into contact with the unit model and start hitting him, especially those from the rear and from the sides, with less melee defense on Imric to reduce their damage. So at this point, it is pretty much victory of the Nurgle army. But yeah, this might just be the end of... Yeah, this might just be the end. But yeah, Lasuros, you're right. Physical resistance on Toads are just really good because one, they already have a rather tanky stat line. Like, not a lot of melee defense, but they just are like quite thick in terms of HP, and then the physical resistance makes them even tankier, especially when Spears doesn't do magic damage. Miasma's Pestilence coming in. It seems that Lamsauce King really liking that spell there, just to reduce the damage output of Imric, making his army even tankier. So after taking some damage from Imric, the Kill Sorcerer Lord of Nurgle decided to nope out of the fight. He is indeed on heal cap because, well, Crown of Everlasting Conquest has been in fact the entire time, but of course it is not infinite healing due to healing cap. No, so now Curse of the Slug, just to reduce the movement speed of Imric, but oof, that is rough because that one last breath attack, a last ditch attempt to pull back this game, entirely missed the mostly missed the important units there, just not doing much damage. So Imric is flying around, Frostheart Phoenix is being surrounded, and yeah, this might just be the end of the High Elves. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just checking chat. Basically, well played by Lamsauce indeed, Lucina, and basically 45% minimum damage reduction against non-AP damage sources, 65% maximum. Wait, what? Wait, not sure what do you mean, because there's no additional. I guess melee defense does play really well with the. Oh right, yeah, I forgot they have Cloud of Flies, providing additional melee defense once they're in melee. So yeah, things are like these guys are super tanky even against spears. Now, Frostheart Phoenix is still engaging, so that means Imric is free to cycle charge or just stay out of combat, but he doesn't want to leave the Frostheart Phoenix in fight alone for too long, so he needs to dive in. He's not diving in, but once the Frostheart Phoenix is dead, then Imric has no hope but to like stay down and fight. Okay, he's charging into the Chaos Knights of Lances, but doesn't matter. Army losses. So Lamsauce King versus Sailanita 1. GG to both players. Well played by Lamsauce King. A very good use of the Plague Toads, just grinding through those damn staunch line of spears. Not so staunch after all, huh? One of them getting 1,000 gold worth of damage value. Damn, okay, I did not expect that. The other two also earning back their value. Chaos Knights with Chaos Knights of Nurgle also being a very solid melee cavalry, grind through a bunch of the High Elf cavalry, which are much more squishier, and actually had enough staying power to keep Imric down on the ground. Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Nurgle did some good damage as well, and the Rod Flies, I expected them to do much worse, but the fact that they were able to stick on to Imrik and continuously pestering him while he was trying to charge something else means that they took a lot of free damage from the Dragon Prince. One of the Chaos Warhounds chased off a lot of routing units, earned back a lot of value, the other not so much, but overall, the rest of the Nurgle army did pretty solidly as well, earning back most of their cost. I mean, Nurglings are Nurglings, so they just kind of die straight up, but I mean, what do you expect from them, really? But overall, really well played by the Nurgle army here, just using the stacking the Plague Toads on top of Marauders to run down the spears. I mean, they don't exactly run down the spears, but more like eventually grind through them, so it's really relying on the tankiness of the Plague Toads to hold the line. And then the anti-infantry melee attacks to just do the damage with the support of Marauders and whatnot. Also poison to debuff enemy damage even further. Now for the High Elves, Frostheart Phoenix did some decent damage, not enough to earn back their own cost unfortunately, and Imrik tried to carry this game. He could have if the healing stayed alive, but alas, there's nothing to protect the Life Mage, so the Life Mage got routed. And White Lions, not the greatest pick in this matchup, I do think. Just probably need more spears. Also being counteracted by the Plague Toads, who have armor piercing and anti-infantry, so not the greatest trade here. Overwhelmed by Marauders and whatnot. Now Lothar and Seekow tried their damnedest to dish out the damage, and they did do some pretty decent damage with their shooting, but after the front line buckled, not much can be done right there. And the cavalry couldn't really hold back Chaos Knights, so with only Reavers, I mean, you kind of expect that. While the spears not doing much damage, trying to hold the line, but not quite successful because of the overwhelming force of the Plague Tide. A couple archers got some good value as well, but that's about it for the damage. We'll be putting up the army blocker. Let me just change up the scoreboard, as Lamsauce King managed to earn the first win of the series. We'll be going into the army selection screen once more, which will be doing Ogre Kingdoms versus Cathay. Interesting. Okay, this is an interesting army, but I don't know if it has what it takes to take down a Cathay box. While the Cathay army, as expected, Cathay box. Wait, no. Ooh. Okay, this might be an even fight according to the army builds. All resistances stack additively, but armor is applied in a separate calculation. Yeah. Okay. It seems that there are co-players discussing how armor works in the chat. I'll just leave them to it. But okay, so in my knowledge, armor and resistances calculates differently, because armor is the damage reduction specifically to base weapon damage. So base weapon damage, the base weapon damage part will be reduced by a certain amount according to the armor, and that reduction is a random number between the full value of armor converted to percentage. So for example, 80 armor means 80% damage reduction to the base weapon damage, or like it's a random number between that full number or the half or the 50% of that number. So if there's 80 armor, so it would be a random reduction between 80% of reduction to that armor, non-armor piercing damage, or between 80% to 40% of the non-armor piercing damage. So yeah. But what is accounted for first? Okay, you said that. Okay, I haven't catch up to that part, sorry. So basically one goes first and what's accounted for first? Armor or physical resistance? It doesn't matter. It's a reduction. So in the end, they go at the same right, no, hold on a second. Which one go first? Which one go first? Wait, no, it's the same. It's the same, right? Like both are a percentage decrease. This is weird. Actually, it doesn't. Yeah, multiplication is commutative. Yeah, it should be done at the same time. Anyways, I'll just drop the army blocker so that we can see what the hell is going on right now. Because, okay, I first thought that the Cathay army would have an advantage in this fight, because Grand Cannons would be a main threat to both the crab launchers and the double lead belchers. Wait, this is not double lead belchers. It's a quad lead belcher build, I think. Yeah, quad lead belcher. But the thing is that the Cathay army is not going for Grand Cannons. Instead, they're going for Piston Archers, Iron Blaster, Iron Hail guns, and a bunch of Crane Gunners. 3 of them, in fact. Now, this is interesting because with the presence of Nobbler Scrap Launchers, that means the Crane Gunners needs to walk up before they can actually shoot, because, well, Nobbler Scrap Launchers, despite me calling them crap, they still have 420 range. And with the Scatter Shot, they can, if they hit, they can do some nice damage to the Crane Gunners, which is rather squishy in nature. But yeah, if the kite game actually works. Oh, actually also, Lead Belchers having around the same, like slightly less range than the Crane Gunners, but with 4 Lead Belchers, they pretty much outranged all those Crane Guns. So things are looking quite rough for the Cathay already. This is interesting. Crane Gunners should smash Lead Belcher for an Ogre unit. Lead Belchers have pretty low HP. Yes, sure, but there are 4 units right here. So, and also one thing about Crane Gunners is that most of their damage come from being able to penetrate infantry formations. So, sure, they will do damage, but it's not the most cost-efficient damage, and at the same time, they will be bombarded by the crab launchers. So things are rather rough for the Crane Guns, which are being forced to move forward. And even if they get into range of the Nobbler Scrap Launchers, they still have to face an issue of which one are they supposed to shoot, Lead Belchers or Crane Gunner, or the Nobbler Scrap Launchers. Now, right at the start of the battle, with the Crab Launchers outranging the Crane Guns, the Crab Launchers will be launching their shots, but I hate this artillery mostly for one reason, and that is how inaccurate they are. We shall, because of how inaccurate they are, they don't actually hit. But of course, if they hit, they still do quite a bit of damage, especially like here. The Crane Guns, each unit model have quite a bit of HP, so all that damage from a direct hit will be fully absorbed by the unit model. And yeah, taking down one unit model, and the surrounding unit models also take a bit of damage. But the problem, again, is just that they do not have much accuracy. Ooh. Well, this one a very good hit, but the other one is just missing constantly. So things are not looking too well for the crab launchers. I mean, there are Nobbler. Ooh, okay. Missile Mirror coming in, but this... Oh wait, no, this is summon. Ooh, this is definitely a premature summon and a mistake. You shouldn't be dropping the Ancestral Warrior like that, because, well, the crab launcher actually have enough speed to just get out of dodge. Now they are trying to push the Lead Belchers and the other crab launchers, but everything else is just backing up. While the Lead Belchers are just obliterating, lighting up all these Crane Gunners on one side. The others are shooting on the other units, but yeah, things are still looking quite rough so far. And once the Crane Gunners are dealt with, that means the Ogre Kingdoms will have full control of the battle, because, well, Cathay is simply outranged and outran by everything on the Ogre roster right there. Ancestral Warrior as well, very unfortunately being pinned down by Nobblers and their Nobblers traps, so they were stuck in melee, unable to keep pressuring the Lead Belchers, although the Lead Belchers have taken substantial damage over time. In a straight up firefight, of course, they will lose against Crane Guns, but at this point, one of the Crane Guns have been routed, the other is also on the verge of routing after being bombarded constantly. But, well, the Nobbler Scrap Launcher actually hit this little mound over here for some reason. Yeah, as I said, they just have like piss poor accuracy. Anyways, on the side there, all those peasant horses trying to trade against Saber Tuskpack did not go well for them, and the Crane Guns being routed at the back means that, and the box being opened up means that the Ogres have a good chance to just shut down the Crane Guns with melee. Yeah, Sky Striders are rolling into combat now. With the Lab Belchers being threatened by all kinds of missiles, they need to back up. If they're not backing up, then they're pretty much doomed. But Crane Guns should be shut down soon. But yeah, the Lab Belchers, Lamsauce definitely dropping his micro a bit right there, as the Lab Belchers are not... Okay, some of them are regrouped, but the ones in the front are just getting shot without retreating at all. But yeah, with the box being picked apart, the pressure of the... Ooh, I might use this in one of my future videos on talking about how to crack boxes, but yeah, just saying that I might use this video. But yeah, either ways, the Sky Striders are just plowing straight through the front line now. There's nothing to stop them. The Crane Guns are shut down. Jade Warriors are trying to keep up, but they're on 2 legs, which are no match for the 4 legs of the Rhinox. I think it's they're riding Rhinoxes for the Crushers, right? Anyways. And the back Lab Belchers have retreated into a safe position and start shooting once again. Ancestral Warriors are trying to chase down the Nobbler Scrap Launchers, but that is not a big deal. For the Scrap Launchers, it can just run away and let the summon itself disappear. At the back there, some of the Crane Gunners return, but they're still way too far to actually get a shot in. Lab Belchers shooting and the Peasant Archers are shut down. There are some Peasant Horses coming in to shut down the Lab Belchers, but what else are they supposed to do such reckless hatred from the Sky Striders? I don't know. And the Peasant Horses, despite able to do some good damage on the Lab Belchers, the Butcher is just healing it all back up. So things are not too great on this engagement either. All the healing from the... Ogre army right now can just go into the Lab Belchers to keep them alive and start shooting. Yeah. Also, Nobbler Trappers always trade well. 169 kills. Oh, what have you done, CA? Why did you give them bonus versus infantry? Why? They are now just obliterating anything and chasing things down. Oh god, why? Well. Just CA's questionable balancing choices always gets me. But a Storm of Shadows here, a great catch for the Cathay army, actually shutting down the Slaughtermaster. But okay, things seems to be in favor of Cathay right now, despite, yeah, well, mostly because of how low the Lab Belchers are. But the kite of the Ogres are on. They're still okay. These little saber tusks needs to be activated to shut down all these Crane Guns at the back. But yeah, all the missiles are just also lighting up all these Ogre units. They need to start retreating. They have enough speed. It's just a matter of micro whether they can get into the right position and get away. Also, one thing doesn't help is that there's no more melee units around here because the Sky Striders are too busy trying to get out of to get those Iron Hail Gunners and Peasant Archers shut down. And the 2 Lab Belchers right now does not have anything to protect them. Scrap Launchers. Oof. Okay. I thought the Ogres might have it, but I do think that the missile kiting from Lamsauce is a bit lacking, allowing a lot of Lab Belchers to be shot and caught in melee. So the Lab Belchers right now are super low. At least there's some healing from yeah, there's some healing to keep the Slaughtermaster alive. But yeah, Lab Belchers keeps shooting. Oh no, one of the Scrap Launchers got shattered. More and more of the artillery going offline for the Ogres, which is a main issue. And they do not have anything to shut down all these Crane Gunners at the back. And the Crane Gunners are just dishing out damage against the Sky Striders. Definitely not a great situation right here. But at least one of the regrouped Lab Belchers with 4 unit models are shooting at the Crane Guns. But once the Crane Guns start lighting them up, they are going to be dead soon. But yeah, so let's see what happens there. A couple volleys and they're routed. Balance of power definitely in favor of Cathay right now. Yeah, I don't like. It is a great, interesting army pick from Lamsauce, but I don't think this is the optimal build to deal with Cathay. I would just go for double Stonehorn Hunters, really, and give them both Nobbler Thief Stone. A great ability, really. Just getting your units into hiding, so that, well, you don't actually, yeah, so that they don't take damage when they're trying to get into melee combat. Yeah. Anyways, these Lab Belchers need to move into melee combat and just shut down. Oh, okay, just the presence of these guys has managed to shut down the and routed the Iron Hail Gunners. But okay, at least I do think that the ogres are not entirely out of the game yet. They need to get those Sky Striders here though. They need to get the Sky Striders here to protect the Slaughtermaster. And with the 2 Lab Belchers alive, there's still a chance for the ogres to come back. So yeah, these Lab Belchers just need to keep running. And Lab Belchers should start shooting into the blob to equalize the balance of power, and just to make sure things are... Okay, things are looking dicey here. Okay, they're shooting at... Okay, Lab Belchers are opening up into them, so just to keep them shattered. Good choice right there. Good choice right there. Now the Slaughtermaster and the Sky Striders just needs to keep running back towards these Lab Belchers here. These Lab Belchers needs to keep running as well. Oh, a nice dismember. Keeping everything over here pinned down. Slow down, and now they're just right for the taking for all those Lab Belcher shots. The great thing about Lab Belchers is that those projectiles penetrates. So against a blobbed out infantry like this, they actually do a lot of damage because they're hitting multiple units models at a time. The Shogun Gunlord is trying to get onto the onto the Lab Belchers, but she doesn't want to really get in there, because a single charge from the Sky Striders can bog them down and completely annihilate them. And now this might be a good time for the Lab Belchers to... Ooh, okay, this might be it. This might be it. The Dragon Blooded Shogun Gunlord might just get sniped over here. Of course, a massive Storm of the Night here is trying to save her by dishing out damage to the Sky Striders and Nobblers, but at this point... Ooh, and a healing comes in as well. Trogas keeping the Sky Striders topped up. They still have 10 models, so there's still some healing potential left. While the infantry of Cathay are just getting kited and shot to death. There's still a lot of peasants on the far side, but they're just out of position, unable to help out this engagement at all. Sky Striders will now be returning. They are heal capped right now because they only have 10 models. So even if the Trogas is still active, they do not have any space for the HP to heal up. So yeah. Well, at the back, the Lab Belchers are opening up, lighting everything up with their penetrating shots. All these Cathay units are routing. Shogun Gunlord being stuck against the Sky Striders. She cannot get out of this alive. Maybe she can, but that is after she routes off and whatnot. Army losses will be hit, and this should be the victory of the kiting game. A very good, very nice play by Lamb Sauce King, winning this tournament. I just need to save the game. Just let me save it. Oh, it's 10:30 now. Okay. Now this might be the last battle of the tournament, but this is not the last battle of the stream, as we did receive quite a few replays from earlier stages of this tournament, and we'll be casting those as well. I mean, like, I thought about casting more games, but I do want to give a more compact experience to every player, so I decided, you know what, people can send me their replays. I'll cast every live game as much as possible, and if I have any replays that I like, if there are any games that I can't cast, I'll just show them in the replays, and that will be what we're doing for the next half an hour to an hour. But first of all, let us just check out the army performances here. Now, GG to both players. Congratulations to Lamb Sauce King for getting out of the Hell Pit. No longer a Red Ogre, and now... What? You'll become a Bone Ripper, if I remember correctly. And no longer the newbie of the Discord. Very great game with the kiting here. A lot of good damage dealt with the Lab Belchers, but he dropped... Like, Lamb Sauce King dropped the micro with the Lab Belcher kiting for a little bit earlier, but after, in the late game, when the resources of Cathay is exhausted, there's no more peasant horses to keep threatening the Lab Belchers. Even the slowest Lab Belcher is still faster than the Jade Warrior, so the Lab Belchers were able to just keep running, and they received healing to keep themselves alive. So things were looking really well, like, once they managed to get back and start firing into the densely packed Cathay infantry formation. So a lot of very cost-effective damage. The Sky Striders did like 2,100 gold worth of damage value, so it's a very solid job as well. The Saber Tusk packs, always a cost-effective mobility, but in this case, there's a lot of infantry to fight, so they didn't really do that much, but mostly just like chasing off peasant horses. They did earn back most of their value, actually all of their value in total, and nobblers. Some of them didn't do too great here, but one of them, 200 kills, 800 gold worth of damage value, very solid performance. It's just, why do you give them anti-infantry bonus, CA? Just take that away from them, please. I love nobblers, but this is just too much. But yeah, overall, a very good game from Lasuros, and Sailanita put up a great fight as well. The Crane Gunners definitely had a good targeting priority, just shooting down the Light Belchers, as this is the win condition for the Ogre Kingdoms. But in the end, because all the infantry were dragged towards the front line, trying to push and silence the Ogre Kingdoms there, the box of the Grand Cavalry Army actually broke. So there's no more protection for the Crane Gunners, allowing some of the Saber Tusks and Nobblers to get on top of the Crane Gunners, shut them down. In the end, not quite able to carry the game. While the infantry-wise, they were able to do good damage against Ogres if they get into melee combat. But with such a kitey army, the Ogres will not give them a chance to go into melee combat. So all we can see is just peasants trying their damnness to catch up with Ogres, but just not able to do so, except when they're on a horse. But even then, Saber Tusks and Sky Striders can effectively dispose of them. Now, peasant archers do a lot of good damage, very cost efficient against lightly armored Lead Belchers, but in the end, once the infantry faltered and Sky Striders and Saber Tusks get on top of them, also being bombarded by Lead Belchers and Crab Launchers. Don't get me wrong, Crab Launchers are still crap, but they still do some good disruption against densely packed light armored infantry. But either ways, point is, Crab Launchers are still crap. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, GG to Lasuros King. Very, very good performance from all the participants in this tournament. Hope you guys all enjoyed the battle, and now we will be moving on to the replay. Also, massive thanks for Human Boy Yes Yes for inviting me to host this tournament. Like, I did not know that I did not know about the plans of the new player tournaments. So what happened was Human Boy Yes Yes was reaching out to me earlier and was like, hey man, do you are you interested in casting my casting the new new player land battles? Because he's going out of town, traveling to sell board games, right? So there's actually nobody to cast his games, even if he wants to host a tournament and whatnot. So yeah, here I am taking over. But there was a lot of like technical difficulties, honestly, over the course of hosting this battle. We have the earlier OBS issue, then we had the whole and then like when I first hosted, well, like I was planning to host this on Total Tavern, but unfortunately I asked Torin for that for access to Total Tavern, but he just never got back to me. So okay, we can't do that, so we have to do it on Challenge. But for some reason, I copy and pasted the description of the event into the Challenge page, and they're telling me it's toxic content, so I can't actually I can't publicize the damn event. I tried deleting and censoring stuff on the description, and I realized it's either Skullcracker containing the word crack, which leading to a ban on the whole tournament, or one of the maps. It's called something of Shagrath, containing the word shag, which leads to a toxic wording flag and leading to a ban on the goddamn tournament page. Very unfortunate there, but that is what happened, and I guess I just had to deal with it. But either ways, dealt with it, deleted the map selection, censored the hell out of censored Hippogriff Knights, and I was like, maybe Hippo can be used as an insult, so I censored it anyways. Skullcracker was censored, so things are fine. We had the challenge going, but either ways, we got the whole event going, which is fine. We had audio issues, which is still fine. Total Tavern was not available to me for reasons, because because content creators can't, like, you need permission from Turin to get, or one of the admins to get access to the site, which means I don't have it, so I can't use Solo Tavern. So, but either ways, we dealt with it on challenge. We dealt with the whole censorship issues. We dealt with everything, and now here we are, finishing the rest of the games. So, we have a Vampire Count versus the Dark Elf army with Sakara / Lasuros saying that he had a whoopsie. Now, this gameplay is sent in by Lamb Sauce King, so the green side is him, and the red side Vampire Count is Lasuros. Army built a box from Dark Elves here, a front line of Black Gods of Nagaron. Yeah, just going full hard on that elite front line to hold back chaff and monsters alike. At the back, a whole lot of Dread Spears, protecting a bunch of Black Arquebusiers. Not a bad choice. I like this choice a lot, because even if you summon zombies on top of them, they would just beat back those zombies just fine with their heavy armor, 80 armor, and pretty decent melee stats. 29 melee defense, 33 melee attack, like a decentish mid-tier infantry stats, really. And then a couple witch elves as well to just keep stuff rampaging and unable to cycle charge, especially useful against Vargheists. Now on the other side, we have the Vampire Counts with a Blood Dragon Vampire Lord, and a front line of zombies. Oh right, we have Sorcerers of Fire coming in with Burning Head and Cloak, Cascading Fire Cloak. Yeah. Now for the front line there for the Vampire Counts. Oh right, Malice Darkblade leading the army. For the front line of the Vampire Counts, we have a front line of spears mixed in with the Tithe and more zombies, and in the skies, Blood Dragon Vampire Lord with You didn't bring Invocation of the Heck! What the hell? Dude, why did you not bring the spell? Okay, that's definitely your mistake, I think. So no Invocation of the Heck. Yeah, Fell Bats in the skies. There's a bunch of Varix Reavers and a bunch of there's Necromancer hiding, just striking stroking his Rod of Corruption. Yeah, Rod of Forbidden Rod. Striking his Forbidden Rod. But yeah, no Invocation of the Heck. This is a major issue here, because all the hit points will not be able to heal back up, and the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord is taking a lot of damage right now. Now, frontline push is going just fine, possibly because of a breath attack, but there's nothing to really go on top of the... Yeah, there's nothing to go with the Van Hels's Dance Macabre. Like, what? No. Okay. First of all, never put the spell on Necromancer. Never put Invocation of the Heck on Necromancer. The more spells you put onto one character, the more spells you put onto the same character, the cheaper the spells are gonna be. So by that logic, you should put multiple spells onto one character instead of multiple spells on different characters. Never separate the spells. Also, you want to keep the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord alive, so you just keep... Wait, yeah, like, you want to keep your Blood Dragon Vampire Lord alive anyway, so you should always have the spell on him. Don't split the spells like that. Breath attack going into Black God of Nagaron, but that is pretty much the only way to kill Blackguards. There's nothing to go with the Van Hels's Dance Macabre. If you want for Van Hels's Dance Macabre, go with something like Grave Gods with great weapons to cut through the enemy armor and melee defense more efficiently. Like right now, even if you Van Hels's Dance Macabre, your cavalry and your infantry, they can't do shit against the Black Gods of Nagaron. Or against... I mean, they can do more against the Dread Spears, but that's never the main concern here. An elite armored halberd cavalry... an elite defensive infantry is always more problematic for the... vampires, really. Anyway, Varix Reavers, they do have... they have pretty nice melee attack now, 62 melee attack, but with the charge bonus, it's pretty much an overkill for sure. And things are looking quite rough for the Vampire Count for sure. Things are looking rough. Malice Darkblade going in on Blood Dragon Vampire Lord. Heart Piercing is activated, but there's no Helm of Discord to lower. Oh well, here comes the Helm of Discord, lowering the hit points of Malice Darkblade, putting in, multiple big hits onto the Dark Elf Lord. But the rest of the Vampire army is pretty much vulturing. Like, the hunger healing is not enough on the Blood Dragon, and he's getting hit by Malice and getting shot point blank. Balance of power is in the favor of Dark Elves. Once the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord goes, the rest of the Vampire army will also slowly crumble. I was watching it on the Necromancer so he can overcast without me worrying about overcast damage. Also, still not good enough for a reason to split because like I guess that makes sense, but like it is better to like the Necromancer is much easier to get sniped than the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord, especially when your Necromancer has a Forbidden Rod that further damages himself, and he's on a corpse card, which makes him very easy to get hit by both missiles and melee. So yeah, probably don't do that. Don't do that. Just put all your spells onto Blood Dragon Vampire Lord. That would be fine. Like, the Necromancer shouldn't have anything other than the passive heals, maybe his bound zombie summon, and definitely the Forbidden Rod for extra magic. But other than that, just skim out on anything. Also, Chaff is not the greatest way to go against Dark Elves, especially against an elite box like that. You probably want something like Grave God with great weapons. I personally had a lot of success with that, especially when you have a Blood Dragon Vampire Lord. You can just debuff any elite infantry and help the Grave Gods with great weapons do more damage and all that. Like, Grave Gods with great weapons is like one of my primary, when I still used to main vampires back in game 2 when I first started the channel. Like, Grave God with great weapons and Von Hell's Dance Macabre, that's my main way to break elite boxes like these. And if you have the, because you also have the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord, you can even further like just prolong those favorable melee engagements with the Helm of Discord debuffing enemy stats. Like, personally, I would go for something like that was a time when Blood Dragon was not as strong as nowadays, so not a lot of people use it. I just bring him on foot for the Helm of Discord. But what else? Dance Macabre, and right, yeah. I would actually drop in an Occam's Mind Razor just to get more damage, like weapon damage and magic damage to bypass any physical resistance. But anyways, that is no longer relevant these days because High Elf Phoenix God box is no longer a thing. Let us check the damage value. Black God's not doing much because most of the damage were just dealt by this one Black God Corsair, and because there's no healing available for the vampire counts, there's no inflated damage value. Pretty much what you see is what you get, and a straight up melee trade with Chav, just not a good choice against, just not a great situation for the vampire counts. Everything just died horribly. Yeah. Issue is Dark Elves has a lot of builds they can go versus vampire counts. Yes, indeed. Alright, yeah, you're right. This would be great against a kiting Black Ark Corsair build. That is fair. But yeah. Yeah, if there's Black Ark Corsair's kite, this would do fine. But yeah, unfortunately there's no kite here. But there's Black Ark Corsair's, but there's no kite. So very unfortunate, especially with the Invocation of the Heck. That would be one of the first round games dealt with. That's Lamb Sauce versus Lasuros. Graveguard's great weapons won't do much against the debuff box with Marathi, the Witch Hero, and Blood Mount. Wait, people still using Marathi these days? Okay. I mean, Graveguards with buffs would probably work decent. Hex Wraiths are amazing here. I don't know. Like, you did see some Burning Head on the field today. So those Wraiths are just gonna die. Oh wait, Hex Wraiths. Oh wait, Hex Wraiths would work well. They can absorb hits from Cheese Runner Chariots just fine because of their physical resistance. And they can just cycle charge everything. And they can, most importantly, dodge Burning Heads. Yeah. Anyways, that is just one of the first round games. We still have some more coming in. Rainy Frog versus Out There. Okay, we have 3 games coming in, so we just need to paste the replay files. Okay, my PC is still hot. It's hot. It's hot. So anyways. Right. Fucking hell. We have Dark Elves again. Of course we have Dark Elves again. Sorry guys, no offense to any Dark Elves player out there, but I've been seeing way too much Dark Elves, especially in tournament settings. Minus 15 melee attack and minus 7 melee defense for Dark Elves. For the Marathi build. I guess that's why you need like constant Helm of Discord and Von Hellstein's Macabre to counteract those debuffs, right? Making things, just nullifying those debuffs and making the trades a little bit better. But yeah, it would still be a rough. The debuff stacking would still be rough. But either ways, let's go into the fight right now. We have a front line. Now this is sent in by Rainy Frog. So the red side is Out There 58 and the green side is Rainy Frog. For the army builds, we have a front line of Dread Spears, mixed in with a single unit of Black Gods of Nagaron, one of the Witch Elves at the back just to provide some rampaging support, 3 Cheese Runner Chariots, of course. What we can't really see a tournament of Dark Elves without these guys, really, right? And then Koa Knights, Dark Riders, more Dark Riders, and yeah, more Dread Spears. Leading the army, of course, your typical Dread, soul-stealing sorceress of Dark Magic on a Black Dragon. Now for the corner army, Skull Crushers and Flesh Hounds hiding in the forest. On the other side, Skull Crushers and more Flesh Hounds. Some of these Chaos Warriors have been taking some shots from the Scourge Runners. Definitely a mistake there because, well, even if you don't have auto fire on, if you attack something that is not in range, in the process of moving towards the designated target, the Scourge Runners will still, the units will still start shooting at whatever they can get their hands on. So definitely a big oversight from CA there. Also the shotguns from the Soul Grinders doing some nice damage to the Scourge Runners, but right now the Soul Grinders definitely over pushing, allowing the Koa Knights to move in and start catching up with the Soul Grinder. On the other side, their Chaos Warriors of Khorne are slamming straight into... Oh, big mistake here. A really juicy blob of Witch Elves, Black God, and Dread Spears. It is just inviting for a massive Spear of Slapnir. But unfortunately, Out There did not spot this chance, so there's no area of effect damage. On the far side, there's Skull Crushers crushing some poor Dark Riders, Dread Spears holding back the Chaos Warriors, and yeah. Koa Knights and Dark Riders are out of position, so they are returning to help out with this fight, while Koa Knights are holding back these Skull Crushers. Definitely a rough fight for this little unit of Dark Elf Cavalry here, taking massive damage from all these Flesh Hounds and anti-large armor-piercing Skull Crushers. Cheese Runners are still trying to fire, but they are just constantly getting pressured by the Chaos Furies, unable to do any effective damage to the Soul Grinders, while Dark Riders slamming into the backs of the Chaos Warriors. That is not enough to break them because of the heavy armor. While over here, Chaos Warriors actually not trading too well against Witch Elves. But here comes the Skull Crusher, and the Koa Knights are gonna get crushed as well. Things are looking a bit bleak right now. Soul Stealer draining away Valkyria and Fury's health, while the Cheese Runners will continue to kite, shooting at probably the Flesh Hounds. But once they get into... what are they shooting at? They don't even have a target. Okay, that is bad. A lot of that ammo is just not used. Now, a map-wide buff of Murderous Prowess is activated, allowing the Dark Elves to trade even better in melee combat and also get some juiced up missile strength. But right now, this is not going too well. A lot of shots are missing on the Soul Grinder because of its animation, and the Flesh Hounds are just chasing down one of the Scourge Runners. Skull Crusher is going straight after some of the Dread Spears in the front, crushing them with a rear charge. Chaos Warriors still fighting against Witch Elves and are eventually grind down by so many Dark Elf bodies. On the side here, Core Knights trying desperately to fight back the Skull Crushers and Chaos Furies, but not quite successful here, while the Scourge Runners taking a lot of damage in this melee engagement. Things are looking quite rough for the Dark Elves right now, as a lot of their Cheese Runners are being shut down by the Flesh Hounds. I do think that Cheese Runners are not as popular as before, probably because of them receiving nerfs in the current meta, but yeah, things are looking rather rough. One of the Cheese Runners have been completely shut down, the other also being routed. In the sky, oh, Spears of Slapnir finally going down along the Witch Elves and Dress Spears, and eventually they will get crushed by once again the Skull Crushers. While the with very, very nice Demon Shield right there, blocking a good chunk of the Soul Stealer damage, just making herself immune to that damage. Yeah, sure. The damage reduction, like the immunity wears off before Soul Stealer wears off, but still majority of that damage is just straight up negated. But yeah, at this point, Khorne has complete control of the battlefield. Skull Crushers running down whatever resistance that the Dark Elves are trying to put up. Black Gods of Nagaron, sure, they are great armor-piercing anti-large defensive unit, but a rear charge would still be a very impactful damage against them, and that shall be the end of the first game, without their taking the first win. For the army performances, Black Gods of Nagaron did well, but just not well enough to carry the game. Cheese Runner Chariots not even able to recover their own valor, being constantly pressured by Furies and Flesh Hounds, a very good mobility pressure from out there. While the infantry, they're not a lot of damage overall. So yeah, against Khorne though, especially armored and these elite Bloodletters, yeah, they are gonna get screwed for sure. Mobility wise, against the elite Skull Crushers and some very cost efficient Flesh Hounds of Khorne, Flesh Hounds did some good damage. One of them recovered almost double their value. Skull Crushers did a lot of damage as well, obliterating Core Knights and Dread Spears and whatever units they can get their hands on. Really, while Valkia also have a really good micro there with the Demon Shield, blocking those Soul Stealer. While the Soul Grinder got hunted down by the Cheese Runner Chariots, but that absorbed enough damage for the Skull Crushers to come in and finish the job on the rest of the Dark Elf army. Very nice game. Very nice first game from both players. We'll go into the second, which is Lizardman versus Nurgle. Very typical Lizardman build here with the fire-spitting army, and then there's also a whole lot of skirmishers, the skink skirmishers, even the chameleon skinks, and 3 Code 1 Knights, clever girl, double Bastillodon. Wait, you're not allowed to bring, what? As far as I know, Fruit Rules doesn't allow double Bastillodon with Ref Crystal. I mean, let's see. Wait, can you bring double Ref Crystal? I think you can't. Hold on a second, give me a second. Yeah, you can't bring, okay, you can't bring double Ref Crystal because they are classified as a rare single. Wait, no, can you bring double Ref Crystal? Huh? You can. Okay, it's an RSE, but if I remember, wait, what? No, double Ref Crystal would be a little bit too OP, I do think. Let me just check for rules. Okay, it is just rare single entities. I just don't see people bring them because it feels very oppressive to bring double Ref Crystals. Because I know that before, for like for like a short period of time, you can't bring, you can only choose to bring one. Oh, okay, never mind. Let us just, okay, I probably misremember some of the rules, but yeah, it's fine. So army wise, double Ref Crystal, a very strong combo with all the healing coming in. That means you, and on top of a Slan Mage Priest of Life with healing. So that is a lot of healing from the Lizardman side. Skin cohorts, just a whole front line of them scattered around the battlefield. 3 clever girls, a single Umbro Tide, and a single salamander, ancient salamanders somewhere. Yep, right here. There's also the Star Chamber Guardians to protect the Slime Age Priest of Life, while the skirmishing force will start working on the Chaos Warhounds, chipping away the hit points. Chaos Knights are on the flanks pushing, but they will receive they will not be trading too well when they're fighting Feral Cold Ones because of the armor piercing and their own lack of armor piercing. While the front line, the exalted plague bearers of Nurgle mixed in with some Nurglings, they're getting lit up, very literally being lit up by the Salamander hunting packs and the ancient salamander. Nurglings being tied down by skin cohorts, so they will struggle to push through. Same goes for the Nurglings fighting Feral Cold Ones. Over here, Nurglings being stuck on some Star Chamber Guardians, but yeah, they are just gonna have a hard time. Star Chamber Guardians with magic attacks and just solid melee stats overall, yeah, they are just gonna die. But yeah, anyways, the Umbro Tide should start targeting the Herald of Nurgle, but of course the Exalted Hero of Nurgle is here to shut them down. So things are going quite rough for the Umbro Tide. They just need to keep moving or just ignore the just ignore the guy. Maybe start shooting at the Herald of Nurgle, but it seems they're mostly just targeting the Chosens. Okay, this is a good target after all. Okay, Lopi said, Lopi confirmed it's 2. Okay, never mind. It's 2 Bastillodon with Ref Crystal. Okay, never mind. I still think that we shouldn't be bringing 2 Ref Crystals on the field. I think that the Fruit Rules Committee should definitely work on that part. But yeah, that's just my opinion. But anyways, skirmishers being chased down. But overall, the infantry fight is going pretty great. The infantry push is going decent for the Nurgle army just because the skinks can't really hold themselves in melee, and but the problem is that the missile pressure is still on here. Flammable effect coming in from the Ancient Salamander and the anti-launch missiles from the Umbro Tide, really lighting up all those Chaos Knights. Chosens are pushing and are fighting just fine, but they're indeed fighting one of the most elite infantry of the Saurus. So Star Chamber Guardians with their armor piercing and good melee stats are trading blow to blow against the Chosens and are doing just fine, especially with more healing coming in. Now Chaos Knights are getting on top of the Umbro Tide. Umbro Tide needs to start backing off, but there's nothing to protect their retreat from the Chaos Knights, so they will be eaten up alive by the Chaos Knights with their Nurgle poison and whatnot. On the far side, Clever Girls fighting back the Chaos Warhounds because their 90 armor means that they will take minimal damage from the Warhounds. A stream of corruption going down the line, doing some pretty good damage over the Skin Quads and some of the Star Chamber Guardians. Now a healing coming in, probably a regrowth. Yeah, probably a regrowth onto the Slime Age Priest of Life to keep himself healthy after he has taken quite a bit of damage, while the Nurgle Knights are getting shot up pretty bad by the Skink Skirmishers. At the back there, the Umbro Tide have escaped the pursuit of Chaos Knights. Definitely, I feel like that's a mistake here. They should have kept chasing. But alas, the Skink Skirmishers have distracted their attention, while the Umbro Tide, for some reason, are going into melee against the Chosen. They're probably targeting something on the far side, but then just walk straight into the Chosens. And yeah, they are just going to take a lot of damage. Now over here, the Chosen Knights, despite their 120 armor and missile block chance, they are still getting chipped away by the sheer volume of Skink Skirmishing missiles. And on the far side, their Warhounds being routed by more Clever Girls. And that's all that's left for the Nurgle army is just pretty much the infantry and a couple characters. And maybe this Chosen Knights, but not Chosen Knights, Chaos Knights. But they are being slowly dragged down. Chosens are fighting, but as you can see here, they are not receiving any heal. But the Ref Crystal has been constantly just topping up the Star Chamber Guardians. So eventually, in a war of attrition, these Chosens will be losing this fight. Especially when the Bastillodons just cycle charging into the back. So, yeah. As soon as I saw the double Bastillodon, I feel like the Lizardman will out-heal the poor Lizardman. The Lizardman will out-heal the poor Nurgle here. So Still, the balance of power is actually slightly in the favor of the Nurgle army because of how healthy the Herald is, but all that's left for the Nurgle army are just some Exalted Plague Bearers, which has ran out of Death's Head. The Chosen, who are down to 1/3 of their health, fighting at a still rather healthy Star Chamber Guardians, who is constantly receiving healing from Rev Crystals, Earth Bloods, and whatnot. Actually, yeah, and also Regrowth. Actually, just Regrowth, no Earth Bloods. But still, spell is spell. And that is a very good spell out of the Lore of Life. And yeah, at this point, balance of power has shifted into the middle. Things are quite even now as the Chaos Knights are slowly being dragged down by an overwhelming force of Feral Cold Ones. The armor piercing really doing a number on the Chaos Knights when they're getting surrounded. And yeah. Excuse me there. Chosens of Nurgle surrounded, being swarmed by the Skinks, and Regrowth and Rev Crystals equals Zombie Lizard. Yeah, so basically something I discovered is that Rev Crystals essentially unlocks the unit. Like basically whether you can revive a unit model is like a status you can unlock, and Rev Crystals essentially unlocks that. I try to use that in some of my Lizardman army builds, but it's still too expensive to use that. So either ways, the point is that even if you have low model counts on a unit, if you stack your Regrowth and Rev Crystal, that means that you get the healing of the Regrowth and you get the that model resurrection from the Rev Crystal. So you essentially can just bring back the entire goddamn unit. I try to make a meme army build out of it, but it's not too competitive because how blobby the build becomes. So yeah, I just don't use it. But overall, it's a very solid build. Anyways, the Stilodons now in the face of the Exalted Plague Bearers, while there's nothing to stop the Ancient Salamander to blast away at the Exalted Plague Bearers now. Umbral Tide will get chased off by the Herald of Nurgle, but yeah. It is just the infantry versus the very, very elite Star Chamber Guardians and some Bastillodons. And I pretty much don't doubt the Lizardman has this. Like, the Lizardman seems to have this. Sure, there are some rancid visitations to drain away health of the Bastillodon, but there's nothing to really do the spike damage spike. Plague Bearers will eventually be grind down by the magic attacks. Most important thing of all here, magic attacks ignoring all those physical resistance of the Exalted Plague Bearers. So the Exalted Plague Bearers are gonna be grind down, leaving only the Chaos Knights against a lot of these armor piercing single entities and all that. So, and more importantly, the anti-large armor piercing Halberd Cavalry, and also being blasted by the Ancient Salamander with the armor-piercing missiles. There's no anti-large, but armor-piercing is still good. And Nurgle Knights will be overwhelmed. And a Herald of Nurgle surely does not have the ability to carry this game against so many elite Saurus and all. So, yeah, that should be the game. And the second battle will be going to Rainy Frog. Now, army performances-wise, the Knights of Nurgle actually did really, really well. 2,100 gold worth of damage value on one, 1,400 gold on the other. But unfortunately, even if the Chosen was able to get 1,700 gold worth of value, actually everything did a lot of damage here. Just that there's nothing to deal with 2 Rev Crystals. So, very unfortunate here. The sheer amount of healing outweighed the Nurgle army's damage power, so they just got crushed in terms of balance of power, really. 4,300 gold worth of damage value on the goddamn Star Chamber Guardians because of all the healing coming in. Oh god, things are rough. Things are indeed quite rough for the Nurgle army. Yeah. The rest of the army didn't really do that much damage, but it's just that one Star Chamber Guardians taking all the Rev Crystals and Regrowths, and eventually outgrind the entire Nurgle army. Yeah, things are rough. Like, all these Nurgle units did really well. If there's one less Rev Crystal, perhaps the Nurgle would have had this, but alas, there's no what if here. But yeah. If you go double ref, Crystal might as well Horn ones too. Maybe, but in this case, Nurgle doesn't have a lot of good answers to like solid defensive infantry when they don't have a great unclean one on the field. So yeah, might as well just get Star Chamber Guardians only. Anyways, another battle. We also have Sailanita versus Dr. Nerd to showcase. So yeah, we'll show that later. I believe. Wait, Sailanita didn't send me the replays. Oh, okay. I guess we're not showing. I guess we can't. Okay, I don't know, Sailanita, are you there? But if you can just send me the replays from the first round of battle between you and Dr. Nerd, that would be great. If not, then I guess I'll just have to end the tournament stream after this one. Anyway, so for this battle here, we have Rainy Frog going for Tomb Kings versus Slaanesh from out there. So for the army builds, we have a front line of skeleton warriors and then a bunch of Eyes of Desert. Their laser eyes are very good into killing large single entities, but there's no large single entities on the field today, so rather unfortunate for them. Anyways, there are also two Necropolis Knights, one Ushabti, and a bunch of Tomb Gods with halberds, plus a bunch of rather squishy skeleton warriors and spears. Two Tomb Gods with halberds, actually. For the Slaanesh army, 2 units hiding in the forest. The Seekers of Slaanesh, very elite, very strong melee cavalry, especially with their poison and armor piercing. Great trade against the Necropolis Knights. On the side there, Demonites and Chosens of Slaanesh. Well, there's no Ushabtis here, so these guys are just gonna fight through everything on the field with their insane 72 melee defense. So rather unfortunate for Rainy Frog. He's already behind in terms of army build. Yeah, being outpicked by the Chosens with Hell Scourges. Marauders of Horses chipping away enemies' hit points with their javelins, doing some pretty nice damage. Demonites, regular ones, they are just cutting through skeletons just fine. Necropolis Knights trying to pressure away the Marauder Horses, but that means they're out of position to protect the backline here. Laser Eyes continues to blast away at the Chosen of Slaanesh. Probably the only way they can deal with the Chosen, but they don't exactly have the line of sight because these shots are a direct shot onto enemy units. So they don't have an arc of fire, and if they don't have a direct line of sight, they will just be hitting their own friendlies or just not hitting at all. Anyways, Necropolis Knights needs to start charging the Chosens, and indeed one of them will be doing so. Ushabti is fighting among them, but the high melee defense means that even the Ushabti's anti-infantry bonus and armor piercing is not able to do too much damage against the heavy infantry. And on the far side, Demonites are blending their way through all those skeleton infantry. Rather sad times for the bony boys. And the Chosen are still not taking much damage despite the Eyes of Desert trying their best to shoot them, but things are not looking great, honestly. Tomb Gods are trying to move up to hold back the Demonites, but in a straight up melee fight, Tomb Kings have no way to win against all these Chosens and Demonites, really. And now finally the Seekers are activated, and once they get into the backline, things will look even more grim for the Tomb King's army. Like, the Necropolis Knights managed to work the Chosens down to half health, but they themselves are also down to half health because of the javelins throwing in. And the Laser Eyes are just not getting any good engagements here. Now that the Seekers are coming in, they are just gonna be smashed. At least they got their flanks turned in time, so they will not get hit by the devastating flanker bonus, but still, just some very cost-effective damage. And then there's also the Seekers cycle charging into the Tomb Gods, eventually working them down. Prince Sigvald the Magnificent, he is unkillable, almost unkillable. Arkan the Black is just trying his best to do things, but there's not much he can do other than Spirit Leech Prince Sigvald. I guess he was trying to Spirit Leech the Alurus, but really the Alurus is not the main concern here. It's all the Chosen. Damn Chosen is gonna fight. They're gonna fight till the end of time with their 70-ish melee defense. And Necropolis Knights not getting exactly. Ooh, a Pendulum coming in, doing some good damage to the Skeleton Spears and the Tomb Gods. And now Demonettes have a little bit of a better fighting chance. And yeah, Necropolis Knights, they're just sitting here doing nothing. Okay, this is definitely a mistake there, but unfortunately, I do that all the time as well, so I can't really blame Raining Frog here. Because there's just so much micro on the field. You just need to keep an eye on anything, everything around the battlefield. So, yeah, things are pretty rough. Anyways, Demonettes finally almost reaching that crumbling territory, but they're not crumbling just yet. Not crumbling just yet. Things are looking rough, really. But yeah. On the far side, Marauder horses are shooting into Necropolis Knights. Oh, they have halberds, so they're at the anti-large variant. Making them even worse against infantry, actually. But, oh well. But yeah, on the far side, Marauder horses chucking javelins, chipping away the health of the Tomb Kings. And balance of power is slowly edging towards the favor of the Slaanesh army. As the infantry support of the Tomb Kings are quickly dwindling, the Necropolis Knights with halberds are still no match against the elite Seekers of Slaanesh, especially once they get those devastating flanker bonus. And this Demonette is still not quite crumbling yet. The one on the far side is also not, as they're trading really well into the Tomb Gods. 41 melee attack and 37 melee defense, just enough to outtrade the Tomb Gods. So things are rough for the Tomb Kings after all, especially when the laser eyes got tied down by Seekers of Slaanesh. And yeah, that is probably gonna be game. Like, with all the monstrous units tied down by stuff that simply trades better against Slaanesh, and they're constantly getting Spirit Leech on the Prince Igbo. That is not a good pick, but not much you can do there. With the Alurus that, yeah, there's pretty much only Prince Igbo to Spirit Leech, but the problem is that there's nothing to kill all these 72 melee defense chosen, so they just held out forever. Over 170 kills, over 130 kills, and also Seekers coming in late, but they did coming in with a very deadly kill. 1,600 gold worth of damage value overall. Very solid stuff. And Chaos Warriors also killed a lot of chaff. And the Demonettes did well. They trade well into zombies even if they're kind of glass cannon, because they just have much better stats than the chaff unit of Tomb Kings. Well, skeletons. And yeah, Marauder horses with their javelins always doing well, as long as they can just keep firing. And with the Tomb Kings not having any light cavalry today, they are just shooting to their heart's content. Although they occasionally get mismicroed and got caught by the Necropolis Knights. Necropolis Knights did horribly, unfortunately, in this battle. They don't have really any good things to fight. Being tied down by Seekers is definitely a lethal scenario for these guys. But yeah, Laser Eyes didn't really manage to do much damage, because their line of sight is constantly blocked, so they can't actually shoot the Chosen. With Shaptis, Tomb Gods with halberds, none of them did really well. I do think that Kepler Guard would be a good pick here, just because of how good they are against possible Daemonites, which is pretty much a staple in this matchup. You always, maybe not this matchup, but you always kind of expect seeing some elite infantry from the Slaanesh side. Like maybe a Daemonite, maybe the Exalted Daemonite, especially the Bringers of Beguilement. But yeah, it will be great against Marauders, and also Kepler Guard would probably be a good choice here. Anyways, Skeleton's not doing much. Definitely a rough battle for this Tomb King's build. Spirit Leech does some damage, but whatever damage dealt to Prince Zephyr will be healed up. So even if you can kill the Alurus with Spirit Leech, there's not much you can do with only Spirit Leech next. Anyways, that's it for all the replays we have today. Sailanita and Dr. Nut did not send me their replays, so I'm not able to cast them, very unfortunately, but it is what it is. Yeah, it is what it is. But yeah. Oh, Rainy Frog, you were expecting Ankari and Beast of Slaanesh. Fedus. Ushoptis only have 31 melee attack versus infantry. Well, wait, what the? That's pathetic. Holy shit, that's bad. They're worse than crypt horrors for sure. I guess I'll just never use crypt. I'll never use Ushoptis, I guess. Regular demonists are capable of doing well, just too high of a risk for their cost. Indeed, they have less mass than goblins. How? I guess they're just too skinny. Lore of Nahak is better than Lore of Death in this matchup. Oh. Actually, yeah, you probably want more damage and physical resistance to deal with perhaps Hellstriders and whatnot, but against Demonettes that's not going to be useful, but you can punch harder back with the Curse Blades. Yeah, the incantation of Curse Blades. But yeah. Anyways, I hope you all enjoy the stream for today. Sorry about the technical difficulties for the tournament and for the stream, but at least we got everything done. So yeah, that should be all for today. Tomorrow there's gonna be a couple more tournaments. One is hosted by Gojira for his land battle with capture points mod. And the one other one is very interesting, hosted by General Eisenbart. He posted the links on multiple Discord, so you can just check the tournament channels. That would be an artillery themed tournament where you have to go full on just artillery fire. So we're gonna see a lot of quality fireworks around the battlefield tomorrow. I probably won't be streaming that, so just for everyone to have a smoother gameplay experience instead of waiting somebody to start playing. So yeah, if you're interested in just going on full on shooting and instead of frantically microing cavalry and whatnot, go join that and play a bit more of a heavy artillery. Do GC balloons count as artillery? I do not remember. You have to go check the challenge page yourself. Anyways, that's all for today. Thank you everyone for playing in the tournament. Thanks for your support, and I hope you all enjoy the stream. That's gonna be it for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Tactical Lich signing out.